Hello, everyone. Always a pleasure to see you guys here. We're going to be going back to an old part of the well. Welcome back to the world of School of Movies. Oh man, this is gonna be a fun one to say the least. It's freaking awful. So I feel it's only. And we're going to be covering their Batman take, since it just barely came out. And I'm bringing a big fan of the movie here to help me debunk why everything they say is personal preference based, and based in a sense of bias. So please welcome Holy Ninja.
The fact is, Starscream, despite your treachery, I've allowed you to carry on this long because I took a certain delight in following your string of failures. You finally become tiresome, predictable. You've hit rock bottom.
Oh no. I feel like I'm about to be Starscream, but
yeah. Alrighty, well, let's get started. Let us know in the chat if we have any audio issues, but hopefully this will be able to, since I've got it on full screen, we'll be able to make sure that we're getting some good audio from this. So we should be good.
I'm Alex Shaw.
I'm Sharon Shaw.
And welcome to School of Movies. Okay, the Batman.
Hey, Serena.
Fear is a tool.
Okay, let's skip the trailer.
Oh yeah, by the way, so Serena, who just joined in the chat, has a new
comic, right?
Yep, yeah, Black Rhapsody.
You guys are e-tapping. Technically, yes.
Yes, we are e-tapping a podcast. Apparently, these guys doesn't like the Batman, which is mind-boggling. Okay, but then again, they hated Wonder Woman 84. Then again, I'm one of the only few people who actually liked the movie when I watched it.
So here's the thing. Guess how? Take a guess. I won't tell you now, but guess where they put this in relation to Batman v Superman.
I'm gonna assume that Batman v I'm gonna do the worst take of that Batman v Superman. The theatrical cut too, not even the Ultimate Edition. The theatrical cut is a masterpiece that is the top tier cinema compared to the Batman.
Actually, I'm pretty close. They actually prefer it. He thinks that it's still bad, it's his second worst Batman movie, but this one being the worst Batman movie.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, they are on crack.
Apparently they're on this special crack where it's apparently they're this weird crack where they don't like something, but they also have to be very positive about it.
They have trash taste.
Yes. Isn't School of Movies infamous for liking the sequel trilogy?
Yeah, except for Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, well, everyone hates Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So let me one thing that I should maybe do. I'm going to read their preamble. One of the biggest films of the year, celebrated for its dark beauty and mature themes. If you loved Matt Reeves' the Batman choices, chances are the vast majority of moviegoers and critics are in the same boat. I'm not in that boat. I'm on a tiny raft made of twigs and optimistic delusion, drifting off towards a whirlpool straight into down to sea hell, surrounded by electric sharks and mecha jellyfish. For many reasons, this was
mecha jellyfish. So are we in Gundam?
I have no idea. I legit have no idea. For many reasons, this was a miserable experience for me, but the last thing I wanted to do was moan about it or tread on anyone's toes for liking it. Own up to your hate, you own up to you soy boy coward.
You're making a 2-hour review. You made a 2-hour podcast on the Batman about how you don't like it.
Oh, it gets weirder. It basically goes like a meta-analysis of Batman up to this point.
Okay,
So
that's fine. Okay, so with Batman, so I'm on like a weekly stream with some friends called 2 Cents, where it's just a show where we just put our 2 cents on it, and we were big fans of the Batman. We did spend a huge portion of it talking about it compared to the Nolan trilogy.
He doesn't compare it. He just looks at the meta of saying that each Batman is in a conversation with the previous Batman.
Okay.
It's going to get weird. It's going to get really freaking weird.
Okay, that does sound weird. Like, in one hand, okay, that's just literature in general. Any form of art, each work is going to be, in some sense, a response to the previous one, a previous work. Like, even if they don't intend it, it's just like, just how literature evolves and, like, thoughts.
Yep.
That's fun stuff. All right.
So I crafted what I hope is a really entertaining episode that actually looks back over all of the Batman movies. It gets meta because that's what this series is, a perpetually shifting cultural statement on how to make darkness, vengeance, and crime fighting appealing. And this one's just a shell for next week, so I won't read it. I don't care.
The Batman, yes, it's dark and stuff, but I wouldn't say it's...
Von Lustra, if you want to come on, it's open.
Yeah.
Just tag me.
Like, I would actually say that the Batman is actually it has a lot more stuff going on that's a lot more hopeful than especially Snyder. The Snyderverse, the Snyderverse, I think is like peak dark take on Batman.
Peak edge lord, you mean?
Oh yeah, which is funny because that's what I originally thought. Did you when you saw the trailer? Did you think that this was going to be an edgy Batman?
I didn't really have any opinions.
I was getting the feeling it's like, oh my goodness, they have the black mascara and that was like the I was expecting kind of mediocre, but I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, exactly. It's like the film, I would say, when your impression of the trailer, if you thought that the trailer, the tone and everything was like, oh, looks like so edgy Batman take, the film is basically judo throws you and making you love all the stuff that's in the trailer that you don't like.
Yeah. And a lot of this is what he's going to be bringing up is personal bias based on the circumstances of his screening. Okay, well. This guy kind of has something towards the end. I don't know if we're going to get there since we're only 2 minutes in and we're 9 minutes into the podcast, so we should probably get started.
That music.
This episode is about the Batman, but it's also a look back at all the Batman movies. I needed an angle, and I needed to say more than just, didn't enjoy this. I just said, let's do a Batman, but honestly, there have been so fucking many movies that I feel like Lucille Bluth could go, fish $10 out of her purse and go see a Batman. And she would actually have a relatively high chance of there being a Batman available to be seen. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I wasn't sure whether to make what we're about to hear a main show and debate the film with a whole group of guests, or whether I could or should save that for later, or get it all done here. And I think the short of it, without spoilers, is that I may change my mind on some of what I'm about to say, depending on where the series goes from here. I don't want to be seen as wishy-washy. I want to be seen as, I want to be flexible.
Well, absolutely.
There is a possibility of me changing my mind.
Well, yeah, it is.
And that's always a good way to approach movies.
Yeah, it's not wishy-washy to entertain the notion that future iterations of something might reframe your perception of it now.
So, for example, Batman v Superman was my worst film of all time for quite a while because of where it trapped. Not even specifically Batman, but Superman. And I'm still waiting for there to be a comeback from that. But I think I actually enjoyed Batman v Superman more than I enjoyed this. Which, if you know and you've my show and you listen to that episode, you'll be like, "Whoa!" I mean, you know, it wasn't that bad. Surely this is Matt Reeves, Alex. But yeah, like I said, I could change my mind on what I'm about to say depending on where the series goes from here. If there are more movies with this Bruce Wayne and this Batman and this Gotham, then there's room to diversify. If it's more of this, I am personally going to be thoroughly cheesed off. But some folks will get the Batman they deserve. Make sense?
Okay.
So thoughts on what they've just said?
A whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just like vapid air. It basically say, like, the only substance in terms of a review, it just says, I hate this more than Batman v Superman. This is the worst one, without going into any detail, which it's fine for like an introduction. Mm-hmm. But, and also it's like, I don't know whether to make this into a full podcast with a panel or not. Like, okay. I needed some more.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Because a lot of people really like this. You know, it was relatively highly rated in aggregate. Let's see where it's at right now. Side note, by the way, the most recent Spider-Man film just cleared $1.8 billion. And the Batman has made $677 million. That's fantastic in a pandemic. And yeah, it's at 85%.
Hey. Okay. So there's some other another important record number. The Batman was pulled into HBO Max, and within a week, it trounced Snyder League.
Well deserved.
Yeah, it's like, and that is when they announced the sequel. And then also for the Spider-Man thing, let's be honest, it's mostly because it's a Spider-Man movie, of course, so it's going to make a lot of money. But it's also had the advantage of being a nostalgia fest.
Yes, definitely.
Like, I seen 2/3 of it, basically the latter 2/3 of the movie. I found it fine. Honestly, for me, saying like fine for a MCU Spider-Man film is like a glowing recommendation.
Yeah, I very much enjoy it, but it's like the plot is Swiss cheese. That's my perspective, at least on it. Honestly, the best part is like just having character interactions. Yep, let's keep going.
That means if you like this film, most people agree with you. So do not get too worried about what I'm about to say. Mine is the minority experience. If you didn't like this film, or you're looking at the poster and going, I have no interest in seeing this, listen on, because you might get a bit more clarity on those thoughts, because I've been mulling this over. I saw it a good week or so ago. It was chucking it down with rain. I really didn't want to go, but I had to go to see this thing effectively for work. Like it's what I do. And
oh my goodness, that's the worst way of going into anything.
Yes.
No, like don't do something because you feel obligated. If you don't want to do watch the Batman for. Neil, we'll maybe get to it depending on if they start out with the last act or later on. I disagree heavily with people criticizing the last act. So,
I thought the last act was perfectly fine. I didn't have a problem with it.
And I'll probably say it several more times. It was in this showing that I realized that the local cinema is a downgrade from our TV. Because, and we've mentioned this before, Screen 3 in particular delivers horrible, blurry, washed out charcoal greys in this sort of muddy soup rather than beautiful stark blacks and clear definition, which is what the OLED screen that we have. It's the most temperamental TV we've ever owned, but it's just about worth it. So, you know.
Oh my goodness! So you're just saying that your movie experience was horrible.
Yes.
So far.
Yep.
Pretty
much.
Oh my goodness! Like, okay, so first you didn't want to see the movie, and you dragged yourself to see a movie. Then you said you didn't like the theater. I just got a question at that point. Like, when was the point? It was like, I wish I could watch it on my TV. You know what? Maybe I should actually just ask for a refund of my ticket and just go back home, wait until it comes on HBO Max.
Probably.
Paying money, or in this case, supporting a Limitless card to see a movie, going in, sitting with everyone else, waiting the whole time through all of those adverts and all of those trailers, and seeing the film in a state of discomfort. In this case, sitting in wet clothes, soaking in them for 3 fucking hours.
Why didn't you bring a coat?
I don't know why.
Right now, it's like I'm more critiquing his movie-going experience. It's like, so you basically had not a good time watching a movie.
It's about to get weirder. We're only 6 minutes in, people.
Just otter's pocket. And then coming home to a dry house where I'm like, wow, this is so much better. I can just peel this shit off myself, have a shower, come downstairs, and talk.
Nothing. Oh, hey, Count Balerion.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, it's like, yeah, honestly, like, there's a reason why I have come to the idea is that if you ever want to review something, like actually review something, like you actually have to sit down and write professionally, you have to see a movie twice.
There's also the don't go to. Apparently, the Odeon is one of the worst movie theaters in the world, based on this guy's commentary, where there's always annoying, stupid kids all over the place. The screen is terrible. Many bad things.
Yeah, go to another theater. Go to AMC.
Well, or maybe the problem is he's in Britain, and the movie theaters in Britain are not very good.
Oh, he's British. Oh, okay. I need to ask. I'll ask one of my friends from Britain to say, like, what is the high cost theater?
We could ask Brightness Becca.
Yeah, well,
That's true.
Becca. I do know that it just seems as though the Cinemark near my house is actually really nice. Like, I never have problems. Like, even when watching like something like Solo, which is really bad lighting, the Cinemark screen, I didn't have a problem with the not seeing anything, but this guy did have a problem seeing anything because of the bad lighting in both the movie and the theater.
So far, the review is like, this is the worst. If you were gonna, he's reviewing a movie based on his movie theater experience.
Pretty much.
Which automatically is like the worst way to review movies.
Blurring, you were saying?
So no, just that's the basis. It's not anything to do with the content or the way that, or cinematography or writing or anything like that.
Well,
He's
at
going to
this
get
point.
into it. He's going to get into it, and he's got some pretty dumb reasons. I think he's pretty much finished with his review of the movie by a little bit later, and basically just moans on and on that he wants like a Bat Family movie, but he's probably not going to get it. That's the
Bat
majority
Family?
of this review.
As in Robin and Batgirl and all that?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's not like there's a game coming up that's all about the Bat Family. Which, by the way, footage of gameplay footage, it looks pretty good. So,
Okay.
But no film is coming up with the Bat Family.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Well, I mean, I suppose it would be nice to have a
Something
well-written
change up the
Robin or Batgirl or whatever. I suppose it would be nice.
yeah, I would say, like, because I think Batman is going to last as a franchise. It's just going to last forever. No matter how many times we reboot it, there's going to be one time that they're going to do a good Bat Family movie. We just have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like Batman has already been with us for almost a century, like over 80 years now.
Yeah, and only since 89 that they actually started to dedicate to make movies. So it's even a smaller time frame.
Yeah, we've had only a few. We've technically only had out of like superhero adaptations, there have been more Batman movies than any other superhero in existence.
Yeah. Because there's multiple reasons. One, I think Batman is probably one of the easiest characters to make movies out of because of its lower budget. You could do a lower budget Batman movie.
Yeah, you don't need superpowers and stuff, so you don't need heat ray and all these other things.
Yeah, you don't need like huge amounts of CGI in a Batman movie usually.
Yeah, you could probably do a decent one with barely any.
Same Neil. I wish I totally agree with you. I wish they can get Superman right. Maybe do put Henry Cavill in a good Superman movie that's not done by Zack Snyder.
Just ban Zack Snyder from Hollywood, period. Let's just do that. And he has the only good movie he has made throughout his career, maybe Watchmen, is 300. Everything else that he's done is pretty bad.
Hey, Walt, Wes, we have just right now we're just critiquing somebody's movie theater experience because that's all they have been saying so far.
Yep. Walt West is, I believe, Walt West is Whisia.
Yep, that's accurate.
All right, well, let's see what else happens.
Pardon me for doxing you or outing you, Walt
He
West.
already said he was Wissia. It's not doxing. He already doxed himself. You're fine.
I'm just I can't actually see the chat at the moment because I'm doing something else while I'm talking to you.
Yeah, pales to Cesar Romero's classic. Yeah, I know Tarek hates the Dawn of the Dead remake by Zack Snyder, but he's a big Cesar Romero fan. So let's keep watching. We're 10 minutes into it. I don't know when he stops reviewing the movie. We can probably stop there.
I don't even want to think about the Batman. I don't want to see it ever again. And I'm still there. In terms of that this is an ordeal I don't want to sit through. And I don't say that about many films. I'm racking my brains for a film that I have decided to never give a second chance to.
And we watched Rotsuka Doji the other day.
Woof. Every Batman film is in discourse with the previous Batman films. They either react to them and head further in the same direction, or they make an abrupt about face and in some key way push against what was established in the past. Sometimes
like this one.
The most recent Batman film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this one, the parts that they continue is like, oh, okay, let's do a bit more realistic direction, and then in terms of thematic, it actually totally bucks the trend on some things in terms of like my themes.
Yep. Yeah, it actually goes in like Batman's kind of hopeful as opposed to or Batman is trying to do good and he's got a sort of idealistic attitude. He's just tired and not seeing a big impact from what he's been doing.
Yeah, and also he goes through an actual character arc. Like you could say 100%. Yes, he is very different from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
Yep, I would agree with that.
And in addition, he also bucks the trend of some of the earlier films in that his voice is actually intelligible.
Yeah.
Where's the boob?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yes.
Yes, I am very, very happy to say the least that we don't get this.
Tell me. Do you bleed? You will.
Oh my good, yeah, and also I will also say that it also bucks the trends of doing a good modernization of all the characters.
Mm-hmm. I would say so. Yeah, I like Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon's good.
I was actually talking about Riddler. Like,
Oh, okay.
well, maybe maybe the podcast will bring up Riddler.
Oh,
Maybe he does take a part of this, he does take a major part in the story as well. I would hope so.
Mm-hmm.
They are, in effect, often having arguments with films from 20 years ago or more. Batman v Superman is so angrily trying not to be Batman and Robin. They killed Robin and put his fucking suit up in a glass case to say, forget it, folks, we are not putting nipples on this bat suit.
No comment.
Batman is celebrated as having a very flexible character who can sit comfortably with a variety of tones. I don't believe directors and writers are themselves comfortable with that variety, and nor are Warner Brothers. You'll notice, by the way, that
disagree.
Until Batman v Superman,
The animation, the show animated stuff.
I think he's talking about live action stuff, like mainstream live action stuff.
Well, yeah, because that's just like there was an attempt to make a lighter version of Batman. It's called Joss Whedon's take on Justice League.
Yeah, and it was bad, but it was better than Snyder Cut.
Which is only a hair by a hair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, let's keep going.
and to give us a Batman with a grey suit, and now we're back to black again. He's always in black.
Or a shriek.
It's always black. Do you know what the Batman in the comics very rarely wears?
Black.
All black.
Yeah, it was grey, doesn't it?
Warner Brothers seem to often, but not always.
No, his cape is usually dark blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a very dark blue. Yes, he has a great suit, but his most defining feature is the dark blue outfit because actually, this is from a fan of like ninjas. Ninjas actually rarely wear all black. They mostly wear it when a samurai or a peasant gets assigned to do shinobi. They wear dark blue outfits because it blends better in the night.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think that's right. The older comics, it's blue. The bathing suit is blue. The
it's
is
blue.
The mask is blue.
Mm-hmm. It's just that sometimes it's the amount of shading that they can do, or depending. Right, it's the reason why sometimes it looks black. But what's wrong with an all black Batman?
I guess it's true that he did wear black in the 1939. I think he had black.
Yeah.
1989, yeah.
1939. I'm talking about the original comics.
Okay.
I think that's more the result of the inking. Yep, and Neil Adams. Oh yeah, he recently passed away too. Rest in peace.
As Catching Kumba said, real ninja wear blue.
Yeah, and also real ninjas are samurai.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, this isn't about ninjas.
Ninja. Go ninja. Go ninja.
Ninja,
Go
go,
ninja. Go ninja. Go.
Ninja, go. Everybody.
No, I'm just thinking of the. I'm thinking of Vanilla Ice doing.
Yeah, I know, but I decided to do a one step further.
Yeah, the ninja rap. Yeah, that.
Do you know that Ninjago actually has a song called Ninja Go? That's
stupid, but awesome at the same time.
Yes, it's a kids show. They even have a song called "I Was Born to Be a Ninja."
Oh man, that's so dumb.
Yeah, it's so awesome. It's so Lego.
That's funny. That's hilarious. That's actually kind of hilarious.
Yeah. All right.
Most, in very heavy comma quotations, realistic Batman.
Yes, it
the
is.
Creative team are capable of for that specific era. In the same way as Bond reflects his era, the Batman has Nolan's Batman was a reaction to the War on Terror. Snyder's Batman was a reaction to Marvel.
Yeah. It's a bit.
And with that in mind, we can look back on what was considered gritty in the 80s or 90s or noughts. Or even
I would actually. Here's the thing. So 89. I only seen the 89 film. 89 is basically a modern version of the pulp era Batman.
Yeah, I would agree.
At that time, so because that was the kind of the Batman it was, and then. And then Nolan is more. It was when they were going to go for more realistic, and I would argue that Dark Knight is the only one that really focused on the Bush era politics in terms of thematics. And unless we talk about Dark Knight Rises, the better.
Yeah,
and then Snyder Batman is more. I want to do Frank Miller.
So Dark Knight Rises. I'm sorry. Dark Knight Rises is the one where evil. left people take over. I'm sorry. I'm asking a question. Pardon me. I'm asking a question.
yeah.
That's the one. Dark Knight Rises is the one where evil leftists take over. Am I right?
Oh yes, and I carry a bomb around so that no one. So that,
Sorry?
Of course.
yes, we're Bane. I am Bane. I am supposed to be smart and everything. It turned out to be just me working for my loved one. Oh, they kind of ruined the only part they were trying to adapt. And
Okay,
then
yeah,
Venom is actually painkillers for some reason. It would have been easy if they just gave me super drugs.
So basically, yeah.
That's just the surface of my problems with Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
So that one. Yeah, there's a lot. Like we could go into quite a lot. I don't remember much, but what I remember is mostly, except at the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning's fun.
The beginning, I like Bane at the beginning, especially. Thank you.
Yeah, well, the thing is that the problem with Bane is that the more you learn about him, the more he becomes like. As soon as you learn about his backstory and why he does stuff, you totally neutered him.
Yep.
Like if they didn't do Talia al Ghul, Bane would have been fine. Okay, so All right, so we're going. So what's his further commentary about?
Let's see.
Or purposefully dour, or even trying so hard to be grown up about a man who dresses as a bat and jumps off of rooftops every night to beat up thugs that it descends into unwitting self-parody. It's Batman's...
So the Daredevil TV show, the Daredevil Netflix show, are you going to get that same argument?
They hate the Daredevil TV show.
Wait, they hate that?
Yeah, they don't like it. They thought it was like a 3 out of... They thought it was like a 3 out of 5. That was like a 5 out of 10.
Like, okay, I haven't seen the first episodes, but I am not saying that it's a terrible show. It was well done. It's just that I just don't have the time to finish up the show and stuff. But really,
it's a fantastic show.
Yeah, I know. I heard it's fantastic. So I am willing to consent that it's a fantastic show, like one of the best TVs ever. But really, what do they like other than the sequel trilogy?
They like Marvel Phase 4.
Oh,
I love the immediate. Oh,
how about Marvel Phase 3?
They really like Marvel Phase 3. They love Thor Ragnarok because they think it's a really deep deconstruction of how do I put this in a way that won't make them gag? Actually, no, I don't think. It's an examination of post-colonialism and post-imperialism.
Okay, where's the garbage dimension? I need to hop into the garbage dimension.
Okay, what is?
Thor Ragnarok is an examination of post-colonialism and post-imperialism.
I thought their review of Wonder Woman 84 was bad, and them having Movie Bob as a recurring guest being bad. But oh my goodness, like, just so they're basically for more happy. Like, so they don't like anything that has like some sort of challenging. So they literally take movies that are meant to be like fun adventures, which isn't, right? Like, we can argue about the quality of the movies till the cow comes home. Like, we're just going to the baseline. It's fine to enjoy a Marvel movie. And then, But then you're basically saying that this dark, like the more serious one that actually tries to tell, is actually attempting to be an actual movie.
Yeah, they think that. Yeah, they like the Lego Batman better than this.
I heard good things about the Lego Batman, which
it's funny. Yeah, it's very funny and it's very meta. But that's the problem with these people, is because they only like meta stuff.
Do School of Movies like Adam West?
Yes, they do like Adam West.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay, so it's good to know that they like. So they just like they like goofy meta movies.
Yeah, one of the things that they said is during the Daredevil thing was, I hate crime dramas where the primary focus is on the criminals. I hated Breaking Bad. I hated The Wire. I hate Game of Thrones now, but the problem is they were in the middle of season 4 at that point.
Yeah, okay. Like, I'm not a big fan. Like, I didn't grow up with crime drama, like with gangster movies, like the crime dramas that focused on the criminals. I was into my family was more into mysteries, like you're solving the case. So I'm not even. I would probably agree with them on like I don't like this, but you're still Daredevil, Batman. They're all about.
Yeah, the statement was they don't like Daredevil because it's like too enamored of the Dark Knight.
Well, I guess. What is their review of Punisher then?
They refuse to do any of the Marvel Netflix shows other than Jessica Jones.
Even the one about a black guy helping out his local town.
Yup.
Man, they're racist.
Yeah, they just said we're not interested in Marvel Netflix. They don't like TV shows at all. They don't like TV show. They don't like watching TV shows. It's not their medium. They've only like sort of adjusted that for WandaVision and what is it? Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki, which their thing on Loki was just so vapid and pointless. Oh, yeah, they thought the sequel trilogy was legitimately good. Like they put,
Yeah. Well, look, I already knew about that because I knew they had trash opinions because Wonder Woman 84. Even though I'm like one of the few that actually enjoyed it, liking it, and defended it.
The review was terrible.
So yes, you can make fun of me. Like you can make fun of me for liking 84, which is fine. Like we can just have a laugh.
It is. Oh, I enjoy Wonder Woman 1984. I just think it's a bad movie.
Yeah,
It's one of those ones where it's like the room of Christmas, the room of superhero movies.
Yeah, I actually liked it as a movie. I haven't seen it again. Maybe if my opinions can change after seeing it again. Which is I will always leave that open. Is like if I always watch a movie a second time sometimes. So
the one I remember that was like a long time ago, but I remember the Wonder Woman one was they thought that Wonder Woman and some lady named Barbara should get it on, and they should be pansexuals, and that they should make out with an aeroplane.
Yeah, which by the way, after reading Wonder Woman 84, I read for my comic crypt podcast thing where we look at older comics. We read the entire George Perez run. Also, rest in peace, George Perez. And it's like, yeah, there's no way that Barbara would ever want to sleep with Wonder Woman. The closest thing to sleeping is to tie her up so that she can have her blood.
Oh my god,
that sounds like a turn on. No comment.
Shall we keep going? We're only 10 minutes in, and
it makes him so utterly mimicable. This is why the Lego version is such a winner with me, going straight for the throat in that movie and becoming a film about the mentality of Batman, both in Bruce Wayne's own ridiculous, crazy headspace and in the eyes of the fans who earnestly will him into this perpetually unhealthy cycle of behavior. It's saying, Bruce ain't in a good way. I mean, that's technically what the Nolan trilogy was saying. Bruce ain't in a good way. And by the end of that trilogy, he is effectively over Batman. You know, he moves on past this horrible stage in his life, which kept him in a state of arrested development. I've been a Batman lover since the Adam West TV show was screened on British TV, even though I went through my phase of rejecting his silly, gentle hijinks.
Oh, there's a memory for you.
Okay, where's the extra review? Right now, we're
come back around to enjoying the Batman 66 movie. But I've studied Batman creatively for years. We have covered every single one of his past films. And
have you read every single one of his comic book runs?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I doubt it because even I haven't done that, and I'm a huge comic fan, which I don't expect people. But if you're gonna just say, "Oh yeah, I studied Batman creatively over the years," it's like, okay, have you read every single comic book run?
I think they've read a significant number, at least. Like they're like one of his favorites is Batman Hush.
Well, that's like okay. So, here's a little inside curtain. Batman Hush is like one of the first comics you read for Batman.
Okay.
So it's like, oh yeah, I like Hush. It's like, oh come on. You should then ask him, what is your obscure story that nobody ever heard of?
It's basically the I know he's done significantly more comic reading than I have done, but that's because I have read only one only
Yeah.
2 comics, and that's the 3rd Batman Red Rain graphic novel and the one of the Batman Trapped in Arkham runs. Because my dad has a bunch of original comics in his dance in the basement. No, they do not think Batman v Superman is good. They hate it. They
but they basically said that they like it compared to this. They like it more than this.
Yeah, which
is like,
me.
it's the most baffling thing. Which, by the way, these guys are leftists, right? Like they're on the left.
They are very much like
progressive. Like the Batman is. You could easily attach all the progressive points on it.
I'm fairly sure that people from the right have actually attacked
Oz.
Batman and
yes, I know. Oz from like Shad's one of his helpers, Oz.
Yeah. Okay, the fat red chap.
Yeah.
Fat red chap.
That's rather rude. Sorry, that was Waitus. I beg your pardon. But anyway, what was I saying? That and I think someone hated Joker too. It might have been what's that guy's name? Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. You see, I have Ben Shapiro has trash taste too. It's like he likes Star Wars. Yeah, that's the thing about Ben Shapiro. He has terrible taste in movies.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, if you watch his reviews, his taste in movies is baffling.
I would concur, actually.
It just face palms worthy. Okay.
Yeah, let's keep going.
It's differently. Batman Breakdown was a piece of audio fanfic that I produced in 2012 as The Dark Knight Rises was hitting theaters. I got mine out just a few days beforehand. It provided me with the dramatic basis for what would become the ongoing weekly New Century multiverse saga, adapting Alan Moore's The Killing Joke into an audio motion comic the year after became by far the most successful thing I have ever done on YouTube. I could rehabilitate you. This situation. I feel divorced release of their animated movie, and even in a lunatic asylum. That scored me 250,000 hits. The Killing Joke did before Warner Brothers took it down with the release of their animated movie, and even today, after some weirdo stranger re-uploaded it without asking me, the thing still gets comments and positive responses, and it's very flattering. But I feel divorced from that as content because I'm not really there. There are people saying, you should do more of these, talking to the weirdo who re-uploaded it.
You should steal more of other people's work and upload it onto YouTube.
Don't worry, I am. So it's safe to say I know my Batman, and even if I have subsequently pulled away from the comics due to a portion of DC's fan base being wildly toxic, I know what is required to maintain the mindset.
You know, you could just read the comics and ignore the fan base.
Yeah, I'm ignoring. I don't count like the fan base of anything. I just think
if you really say that I don't want to read this work because of the fan base, that feels like you're just making excuses. I'm sorry. It's like,
I mean, you don't like it not because you don't like it, but because of the fans.
Yep.
But they're obnoxious fans of Lord of the Rings and undoubted masterpieces.
I have no idea what his opinions on Hassan is, so I've listened to every single one of his podcasts, and I've scrolled through his Twitter feed because I find it immensely entertaining, but I don't know what his opinions on Hassan are.
Anyway.
Yeah, we should probably keep going.
As both Bruce and, extremely upsettingly, as Joker. It's honestly not a world I'd like to live in. It is, on the whole, bleak and angry and violent, an aspect of existence that I try to move beyond to immerse myself in something more hopeful and imbued with multifaceted emotions and powered by negotiation. So you can imagine,
like Batman. Like the problem is that most people don't understand. Like the thing about Batman, and no matter what universe, Batman in terms of comic books, the main series, you have to remain in place. But people like progress in comics, and the idea of Batman is that Gotham gets better as a city. Like Batman Beyond, even though it is its own, it has its own massive problems, is a huge improvement over what happened during Batman the animated series.
Complaining that Sting is working on plating Alistair without his permission. Probably. But yeah, it's like the thing that he's describing, very, very few superhero movies rely on that. I imagine they probably really like Doctor Strange too, because Doctor Strange ends with spoilers for Doctor Strange. It basically ends with a negotiation with the bad guy, where the bad guy gets confronted with the consequences of their actions.
Yeah, because he introduced time.
No, that's Doctor Strange 1. I'm talking about Doctor Strange
okay.
2.
Oh, you're talking about the one where a lady goes crazy to a lady goes insane.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't the consequences of my own action from the entire TV show?
And then dies. Multiverse of Madness, who cares? Oh my god.
Based what I heard, it's a good movie. It's
good
not
in everything except for the script.
Okay, I don't know about that. So it is a very fun movie. The visuals are nice. It's clearly Sam Raimi having a ball, but there's still clearly some restrictions on him. Okay. That's the only sad part, but it's like I heard that he wanted to do a Doctor Strange movie, so this was like one of his dream projects.
You do get your Bruce Campbell cameo, which is always fun. But yeah, like negotiation. It's like, what film series have you been watching? Movies in general very rarely end like that. Like, let's really listen to that, because that's a interesting take.
Toxic. I know what is required to maintain the mindsets while performing as both Bruce and, extremely upsettingly, as Joker. It's honestly not a world I'd like to live in. It is, on the whole, bleak and angry and violent, an aspect of existence that I try to move beyond to immerse myself in something more hopeful and imbued with multifaceted emotions and powered by negotiation. So you can imagine what being dipped into this murky mire for 3 goddamn hours felt like. I came home and said, you know what? I think I might have preferred Joker. If you've heard our Joker show, you'll know that's saying something.
So you don't like depressing movie. You don't like dark movies, even though this movie is all about a person coming out from darkness.
But sorry.
Go for it.
Joker was a lot more depressing than this, than the Batman. That's what we were about to say, right?
Yeah, based on what I've heard on the Joker, yeah, it's
a good movie, but it's very depressing.
Yeah,
it's good, but it's depressing. Yeah, it's. I mean, basically, it's about how this chap turns evil because his life stinks and he murders his mother. Sorry, spoiler.
And is it in fact that a rich couple gets murdered that he's happy?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh my goodness! As opposed to somebody who is slowly realizing that the way he has been operating for the past 2 years out of anger and being a vengeful spirit in the city does not actually help anyone.
Nope. But yeah, it's multifaceted emotion. This technically does have multifaceted
Yes,
emotion.
it's multifaceted. You dingus. Maybe you actually have to do this thing called watch the movie very closely and pay attention, keep notes in your head on dialogue and visuals.
It's not like we were watching it even that closely when we watched it, to be honest. We never really did because we're always blabbing it in the background. So
this was actually one of the movies in the theaters where I just stand there and I was glued to the screen.
Yeah,
like, that's how invested I was.
We weren't at the cinema though. We were watching it online.
Yeah.
So we weren't even paying that much. I mean, we were paying attention, but we weren't like that detailed.
Simplistic. Simplistic is actually for me like when your message is simple and you do it so well, it is your movie, in my opinion. Simplicity is deeper than complexity.
Because it's easier to screw up complexity when you're an idiot screenwriter. Like the people who are running Lord of the Rings TV show.
Hey, yeah, let's condense 2,000 years in 80 years. That definitely won't screw things up.
It's actually worse. They only have the rights to 9 pages.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah, they've only got the rights to 9 pages, which means that like some of the best stories about the Second Age are in, for example, Unfinished Tales. They can't touch those.
Oh, great! It's so essentially even though that is, and the stuff they want to do is like, oh, they have plenty of stuff to do. They could just take a part of the story and just make a whole show on that. It's like, no, we're going to tell the whole story,
or just tell like the little they have access to.
Yeah, which would be fine for a TV show, like for a season.
Shut it. Down here.
Yeah.
So we begin the movie with this. There's going to be full spoilers about what happens. It's your
finally we're watching it.
Eyes of a killer. It's. I was reminded of a movie we did in film studies back when I was a teenager. Peeping Tom, a British film from 1960. Powell, where you.
Oh, come on. You didn't know he was the killer. You, like, at first, I thought it was Batman. You were looking through the eyes of Batman. And then it turned out to be the Riddler.
I think that he's stating it, like, with hindsight knowledge as opposed to possible thinking.
But that's, like, part of the first 10, the first 3 scenes are, like, textbooks of examples of how you introduce a movie.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. Shall we keep going?
Yeah.
You are uncomfortably put behind the eyes of the killer, stalking women. It's still weirdly effective now.
But stalking women?
Friday.
It's a reference to the other film. It's
Okay. Because I don't remember that angle.
The 13th. I think everyone seems to forget that first-person viewpoint, which again, just it's bone-chilling. You don't want to be there. And both of those films are very Hitchcockian. Both have overtones of Psycho and Rear Window. You're placed in the horrible, unpleasant position of somebody voyeuristically looking in on a family, and there's this boy practicing fencing in this house, and it's this sort of mouth breathing as you're sort of sat there.
Yeah, because the whole point of that scene. Okay, so the whole point of that scene is to set up that this is the first time he actually killed someone.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Like, you know how The Dark Knight starts you with that? Here's a giant wide shot of Chicago, and then it's an IMAX shot. and then the window breaks and the bank robbery starts, and it just sort of slowly builds up till you eventually meet the Joker. This is the opposite. It's you're claustrophobically boxed in, forced to look at this from the perspective of the killer, who is the Riddler, who eventually you go into the mansion and the father sort of moves around his room, and then these two lights that are shining behind him suddenly move, and the Riddler in a frenzy sort of bursts out, batters him with a carpenter's tool like fucking Leatherface, and kills this guy in a very Seven style way. Again, they are pushing the PG-13 as far as they can, but I mean, watching it, I can imagine certain kids would be like, oh, I'm not allowed to watch horror movies, and this is like a horror movie. But a lot of other kids would be like, ugh, oh, Batman gets here soon to save the day. He doesn't. Batman's basically most of it.
I'm not sure about the general demographic, but I think the people who are going to watch this movie understand how stories work. I'm pretty sure parents won't take their 3-year-old to see it.
Yeah, most of the people that are going to be watching the Batman are teenage boys.
And also, it's like...
And cool girls who like this sort of thing.
Or the guy's girlfriends, like an opportunity to scootily poop. It's like...
Yeah, that's not inaccurate, just not in Utah.
Apparently, that happened in my experience. I brought my sister along for her birthday present, so we both go see a movie. And apparently, she was distracted because that's what happened behind us. I was so focused on the movie.
Yeah, that never happens in Utah. Maybe it's just because Mormons are prudes.
What happened behind? I want to know.
They were making out.
What?
Yeah. Yes. Apparently, I was so focused on the movie, I didn't notice. So, somebody would have. Apparently, they were smooching.
Now I'm doubly glad that I watched it on my computer instead of the cinema.
Yeah, or you should just come to Utah. We have respectful moviegoers in our state.
Yeah, it's too far away, and your public transit probably isn't any good.
Well,
our public transit is actually really good, especially
not by DC standards. I bet it isn't.
It's mostly buses going all. It's a lot of buses, but we have a pretty consistent bus schedule.
Yeah.
1 second. I do need to bring in our another guest.
Yo. What's up?
Hey.
How's it going?
Talking about teenagers smooching in movie theaters, and we're finally getting into the actual review. We're finally.
Welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Man, I missed that intro.
Mention it.
Yeah, we got another hour. We got another hour.
I
and 15
think
minutes
that there's a big chunk of this is basically a meta review of Batman. So I think we're going to end once he finishes his review. We will end the video. We'll end the podcast.
Okay.
So that way we aren't here all night. We've already been here an hour. We've only covered 15 minutes. So
this film.
Well,
when Batman finally
like I know
does
how
get
I'm
to
spending
the
the
scene,
evening.
Gordon's sort of clear up. There's a lot of very quiet talking, sort of talking in corners, and so again, this kind of fits in with the claustrophobia of it. So, like, but Batman talks into his chest a little bit like this. Gordon this time is played by Jeffrey Wright. It's almost like he jumped out of the Felix Leiter role and jumped into Gordon and was like, "Wait, whoop, and I'm ready to do a whole bunch of other films." And honestly, he's probably one of the best things in this. He and Zoe Kravitz as Selina, I really dug their on-screen presences. They are two actors who are always great and are never used to their full extent. Used sounds bad. Never utilized to their full extent. So
what's wrong with me saying used? And also, Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
They just think he's pointless.
What?
Yeah.
Oh wait, what?
Make it work on.
What? Wait. What do you mean pointless?
He's pointless to the. They think he's pointless to the overall plot of the film.
Well, to be fair,
so let me get this straight.
Wait, Ninja, Valerian,
Yeah.
Valerian. Then you.
To be fair, let's not get carried away. To be fair, I don't remember very much about the Penguin at all.
He was the red herring.
Yes, admittedly, the Penguin's entire. Yes, here's the problem. The whole entire subplot with the Penguin is caused by, I believe. I'm sorry, I just think of Andy Serkis whenever I think of Alfred in this film because he's played by him. But yes, that whole entire sequence involving the Penguin is just a result of Alfred not double checking his Spanish, and of course Batman not saying URL. Hold on, wait a second. He starts off in English in one half and he ends in Spanish the second half. Alfred, could you repeat that again? Yes. URL. Alfred, yeah? That's a URL code.
That's
it's actually like Alfred says himself that he thinks that his Spanish is bad. The guy's Spanish is bad. Like it's not a matter of like Alfred got it wrong. It's that it was a deliberate misspelling.
Yeah, and also it's like the whole so part of the mystery. It's part of this film is part mystery, and also being a world's greatest detective does not mean that you will instantly solve. You will instantly come to the right conclusion at the time. It's. I was actually thinking about this.
No, Hold on. Let me go and break it down really quickly. So, the Riddler has created some very, very clever mysteries for Batman and Alfred to solve and figure out. So, it would seem a little strange, especially considering this is supposed to be taking place in 2021, I believe. It would be extremely strange that he wouldn't, use Google Translate to get the Spanish right. So it would seem that he deliberately messed up the Spanish not because you're supposed to translate it. It's supposed to be a riddle or some. Well, yeah, and that's actually the point. It's supposed to be a riddle. It's not him trying to say you are the rat with wings. It is him doing a roundabout way of getting over there.
Yes, because it's
also. Yeah. I'm sorry. The statement is the line of thought being immediately penguins have wings, right? Instead of thinking, wait, rats with wings. Is it? That sounds like a bat. Well, I know it's not me. So, what the hell is this?
No, he was getting okay. So he was thinking. So Batman's thought process was like, okay, wings as in he was thinking. So the wings part is a reference to a bird, right? But the rat, they were mostly focusing on the rat as in the definition of a rat is of like somebody ratting out to the cop. Like,
yes, there's a literal rat, and then there is the figurative rat.
They were
also
focusing.
Penguins don't have wings; they have flippers. Which is just this is just me being extremely pedantic about this riddle.
Yeah,
my bad.
Well, yeah. It's so it's like
because it's not a very good riddle.
Yeah.
If it's supposed to, the whole entire sequence is just kind of stuffed, if you ask me.
I disagree because of it's part of the mystery part of the genre. Like you need to have that moment you need to have the moment where you prove that the detective is not the smartest person ever instantly solves everything. Like even Sherlock Holmes have moments of where he comes to the wrong conclusion, but then he figures it out that it was a wrong assumption.
Yes, I understand. It is important to show vulnerability with your characters. Even Batman can screw things up. But however, there's also the consequences of him screwing this one up, which kind of, outweighs that fact. I very much doubt he's going to have a very good relationship with the police, and I very much doubt that he didn't accidentally got anybody killed in that whole entire chase sequence. Because holy God, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that at least a few people died, but
or seriously injured.
Yes.
Yeah, let's.
And
keep going,
all of that is because of this. Yeah.
I'll be quick.
Oh, what I was going to say is, and all of that happened because of this one stupid thing where Batman didn't just sit down instead and think about it a little longer.
Well, yeah.
No, that was my point. I finished it up.
Like, I'm not, by the way, when I say I love the Batman, I'm not saying that it's the perfect movie, but it's perfect. But it
hits your sweet spot.
It hits the right sweet spot of it's consistent enough for that I don't have to worry about plot holes, and it hits the right beats of the character arc, and it explores Batman, and it gives them the detective element. It's like everything just works. Everything is like woven in a great package.
Well, yes, I agree. A lot of this film was pretty good. However, the less said about Zoe's line about privileged white assholes, the better.
Even though it is technically correct in terms of Gotham has always been like the location of Gotham. Like, she is not technically wrong in any continuity involving Gotham City. Yeah, it has always been a city that had all these big families that were rich white people.
And they were kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, I think that that's fine. I think that I'm interested to see what House of the Dragon does with the token black family and what the only token black family in Westeros, i.e. the Valarians, because that's what they are. They are the single token black family, because everybody else in that particular thing is white as paper.
Yeah. And also I agree with Skids, like, from her point of view, the way the film portrayed, like, her life, like, her background and stuff, of course she would have bitterness towards the rich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Valerian, you have something to say?
Just agreeing. Yeah, I mean, it's an important theme. I mean, class relations are an important theme. It's perfectly legitimate to treat it in a film.
Yeah, especially when it's just kind of like in our current day and age, it kind of like, because of how
here's the thing.
Like, let me finish and I'll let you. The main like comparison that I have is who remembers the environmental film surge in the 90s?
I did not see it, and I never
heard of it.
Really?
I was alive, but I didn't watch very many films back then.
Okay, so back in the 90s, there was 90s and early 2000s, there was a big environmental push. Movies like The Emerald Forest, Fern Gully, Captain Planet.
Yes,
stuff like that.
Yeah, Captain Planet.
Were made as part of the environmental film fad.
And we can see now, though, that there's something to be said for environmentalism. We know that now.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just that their method of delivery was so bad that it bungled their message.
But basically,
Go for Blandon.
Basically, the point is whether it's heavy-handed or not, right?
And as well as like the delivery system is good, because in
Look.
many cases, the
Wait, let
delivery's
him fin-
oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Let Bright Lord say what he's saying
Look,
because I'm trying to
so-
listen to what he's saying. YouTube,
Oh.
please.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just going to say, like, it's because like Ferngully is a bad movie. The only redeeming part is Tim Curry as evil sludge pollution monster that gets killed at the end. That's the only redeeming feature of that movie. And stuff like the Emerald Forest is like the director of Excalibur doing an environmental film. It's kind of like,
However, both Batman and the Joker are good films when they deal with these themes. So
yeah, they're kind of as opposed to something like The Last Jedi, where it's just like capitalism is bad because apparently these guys sell to both sides, and no further nuance is provided. It just feels like a segue that does nothing.
if they'd only connected it to the main story somehow, which they could easily have done by showing ultra rich supporters of the what was it called, the First Order? Is that what they were called?
Yes, it was.
Let's just say Empire 2.0.
Empire 2.0. If they'd shown that, then there would have been a connection. That would have been a little better.
Yeah, but the problem is that, and the problem that existed was it was just a, what does this have to do with the movie? This is a pointless admission that lasts way too long. Please cut this. The film is better with. The film makes more sense without this. You were saying, Lucia? I think it's your turn.
Yes. So my biggest problem with that line that Zoe had to deliver wasn't necessarily that it doesn't make sense with her, because it does. She would obviously hate the rich for what they've done. It's the fact that she had to say white in there. That came off extremely racist, especially considering it's the first thing she said, these white privileged assholes. It just felt extremely unnecessary and like just bashing on people for their skin tone. It's very backwards, if you ask me. Like, it was, again, unnecessary.
Well, I mean, to be fair, most of the more privileged people probably are white, so.
I mean, yes, but
like,
it feels very modern day. Like they want to appeal to certain demographics on Twitter.
Well, it's not just
Yeah,
like I would argue is that it's the language that is used too. Honestly, like if you look at the modern day, it's unfortunate. It's the most unfortunate part is that in terms of modern day, using skin color like black and white is very common to distinguish.
Yeah.
They have,
and if
the term cishet white male has often been used as a derogatory term, even though that doesn't have any bearing on somebody's personality.
Precisely. And if I may also bolster what I was saying before, it kind of doesn't sit very well considering who she's talking to. Like, the Batman should have looked at her and think, hold on, I'm white. What are you trying to imply over here? Like, she's saying this to a white guy's face, and she's supposed to be working with him. She wants his help. That sounds like a very quick way to turn him off from helping you.
Well, here's the thing. Bruce Wayne in the movie does not give a crap about his status as being a rich guy. Yeah. So it's like in his character, he would not care.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yes, but I also want to.
Brightler was talking.
No, it's no. I just.
It's a derp moment.
Yeah, it's just like it's one of those. Oh, I noticed this kind of in a similar way that I noticed when I was watching Doctor Strange, I noticed that, like, oh, the guy can't do anything. The guy cannot fight the woman directly and win.
So I guess the real question is it the sort of thing that the character would say?
I would say yes, that the character would say it.
Okay.
In that case, I think it's justified by that, then.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Is like, does it fit the character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just we've reached the point in that our conditioning is to immediately cringe at something when something like that comes up.
Okay, so it's not the thing in itself. It's just that people don't like having the word white thrown around.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least they don't.
But it's going to be thrown around anyway, because it's part of our society. So.
Yeah, or at least like they don't like. People don't particularly like the idea that that people are trying to weaponize race, sexuality, and gender rather than the contents of somebody's character. They're trying to go with intrinsic attributes rather than what you actually are as a person.
Okay, but you're not talking about the film. You're talking about you're talking about the culture war and all that. You're not talking about the actual film.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, Skits, I would say, has a good summation of that scene, and on that, it's like I think the point of, and I think that's also the point of the line, is that the point of the line is to give you, oh, this is what Selena thinks in general, and then the great irony is that Batman, that Batman is not like that.
Yeah, kind of for me, it's like I would agree with that. I think we can table this, since like it seems though based on the information of the film, it seems like most of the problem is because of the upper class old well families. Like it's fair to say that like that Batman is dealing with the consequences of old blood rich families that have had their money for quite a while, like the Arkhams and the Falcones, I suppose. I actually don't know what Falcone's thing is. I'd have to check. But I don't think that he's old money. It seems as though it's kind of trying to use the old money to fund organized crime. That seems to be the thing that is going on in the film.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. I tried to adjust your mic. Oh, okay. I tried to adjust your mic so it's a little bit louder. Okay. Oh, that's weird. Either you're getting bad lag, but
it's not the mic. It's my internet connection.
Ah.
Oh dear.
All right. Well, let's.
The cops and seem to dislike him. There.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so cops dislike him, of course. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, like, if we go into the sequel, we'll have more consequences from this movie into the sequel.
You were saying, Lucia?
Yeah. So, like I was saying, that line wasn't exactly like, I'm not going to say that the movie's automatically bad because it has a racist character in it. I'm just going to say that it took me out. It broke my suspension of disbelief for a bit when I heard that line because it felt out of left wing.
I see what you did there. All right, let's keep going.
That's too subtle for me.
Yes.
Hero worship of them.
Well, out of left field.
Christopher Nolan's third movie is really uncomfortable with how it lionizes the cops, and it makes it seem like, the baddies in Blackgate, the prisoners who've been locked up for all their wrongdoings, they're all bad, and these 60,000 cops who've all marched under Gotham and then been locked under and then don't come back up, even though there are manholes all over Gotham.
Here's the fundamental thing with the police in Batman stories. If the police are competent, ethical, and reasonable, you don't need Batman.
This is like that God argument, isn't it?
There's a little bit, yeah.
If the police are ineffable, infallible, and omnipotent.
Omnipresent.
Yeah. But, I mean, the police are often shown as, like, they're just decent guys doing their job, and then you get the occasional, wrongdoer who's sort of taking money.
Pause.
So I would actually like to. I want to push back against this really quickly. The point of the police in Gotham is not simply that they are incompetent or they're all morally corrupt or anything like that. You can get a police force that is just simply underfunded because of the politics of the city. Like if the politicians who get elected are getting their campaign money from the crime bosses who are still around, and the police are underfunded, that the police can still be competent and intelligent, but not powerful enough to take out the crime bosses.
Yeah,
and also with the leadership they had.
Valerian, what were you saying?
Sorry, I was just going to say that there's also this thing in the superhero comics, maybe not so much in Batman, the super villain, which the police can't deal with because these villains are too super for them to deal with. Carry on.
Yeah, I would just say it's like
the nature of their power and what they're capable of is beyond the reach of the police.
Yeah, I would say also with Batman specifically, and especially the Batman, it has always been portrayed that the leadership of the police is also important to the overall character, to how competent the police is. And like in this one, you see that it's like you see Gordon being the only like good cop that Batman can 100% trust, and then you see like a couple of other, like one other officer that you could see could be lead to a future time where he can be trusted. But then you got plenty of examples of, oh, that officer is like a guard at a nightclub on his days off, so he's involving crime, like, and like the whole sting operation that the whole movie, part of the subplot is part of.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
There was a fellow taking money on the side. Who was that? Which was that officer?
But that's the thing. The
Oh my God! You didn't do it.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. I missed my cue.
Well, they don't like falafel.
Yeah, for Batman to exist, there has to be a crack of some description, even if it's a small one, in the police force in Gotham. Even if you're going from the angle of the police are decent human beings, they're just trying to do their job, they're just dramatically under-resourced, then that for the crime to have risen to the point where the police force are overwhelmed and therefore Batman is required, something isn't being done right. You've got a corrupt authority doing something.
And,
Yeah, Chicago.
Hey, look, she basically
kind of
she basically just said what I suggested. That's
Yeah,
nice.
Chicago, New York. Hello, Chicago, New York.
there was one moment which it wasn't exactly satisfying, but it was like, oh, at least someone tried it. A bunch of cops are surrounding Batman, arguing with him in this room. It's going from civil to civil unrest. And one of them's like, give me that, and like sort of reaches across to grab Batman's cowl off his head so that they can just see who the fuck is under the mask. He's like, no, get out, my mask, me. I'll say right now.
I think there's a bit of an issue over there.
But
It's not that. Yeah, it's not. No, it's my mask. It's that he doesn't want his freaking secret identity revealed, so that way the crime bosses know who to bomb.
Yeah, and also, by the way, so for there is a little bit of a plot hole, but more of like you can make a Robot Chicken sketch of like why didn't the cops pull the cowl when Batman's unconscious? Like,
yeah, no, that's just a straight plot hole, my friend, because they clearly have motivation to do it, and they had the opportunity to do it, and for some goddamn reason, they didn't do it.
The only explanation I could think of, which the film didn't do, is didn't explain, is Gordon was with him 24/7.
Which I very much doubt, and I doubt that Gordon can fend off all of the police officers if they decide to jump him and pull him away as they rip off the cowl.
But like, it's not that. In my opinion, it's not that bad.
It was egregious enough for me to notice while watching it for the first time in theaters.
Like,
so
it would be like a 0.5, 0.1 in terms of like points deducted, in my opinion.
Yeah. To be fair, though, it would have to. I kind of want to be a bit generous. I tend to be very generous with my rating.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
He's disliked Robert Pattinson as a screen presence. I have been told for years, oh, you know Robert Pattinson, he's really talented. I've been told the same shit about Marky Mark. You know what? Still waiting for any kind of proof of that from Pattinson.
Oh, that is a massive false equivalent.
Yeah, and also, like, okay, so I have not seen any of Robert Pattinson's previous work before this movie. I think he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, you see, good acting is something that you typically don't notice unless it's really good. But bad acting is something you will pick up on immediately.
Yeah,
and
like,
I did not detect anything wrong with the way he performed in this film, so it was competent.
Yeah, and also, his portrayal of Batman, he rarely goes on long speeches.
Yeah.
Which is very important for Batman.
He doesn't do the...
Thank God.
Yeah, he does it. He's just quiet.
Yeah.
And subdued.
Yes, folks. Get ready.
Yep.
It is like watching a worm slowly crawl its way across the carpet. That is what his Batman is. He is a
What?
He is so.
So he
I'm
compared
sorry.
Robert Pattinson's performance as a worm crawling through the carpet.
That's what it sounded like I heard.
Nope.
Okay. Carry on.
Okay, clearing your taste in fine quality acting, which is, by the way, in my opinion, one of the most hardest thing to judge ever. Like, again, because good acting is subtle. But oh my goodness.
I would like to know, what does he mean by a worm crawling across the carpet? What does he mean by that?
You know what? Still waiting for any kind of proof of that from Pattinson himself, because right now it is like watching a worm slowly crawl its way across the carpet. That is what his Batman is. He is a non-entity. He is so fucking dull. He is an absence of charisma. I'll actually let's give you the rankings, shall I? I ranked my order of Batmans on the screen. Only the.
Okay, I want to hear his list rankings. So,
movie Batmans. Da 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 Batman. Da 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 Batman.
Why do we?
Well, if I may, I do want to say that I kind of, sort of agree with him on the Batman's portrayal in this film. He wasn't really all that exciting, but he was entertaining enough to get me to keep watching the film, so there's that. But I wouldn't say that he's a non-entity, because he does have a presence.
Yeah, it's...
About to get into some BS.
Oh boy.
Batman theme from when Batman v'd Superman. Okay, so at number 9, Robert Pattinson, dead last. At number 8, Ben Affleck. I prefer Ben Affleck to this one. Like, there were times when he was relatively commanding. Very specifically, there was.
Okay, I want to.
Okay, so
him being Bruce Wayne in a shirt and a waistcoat,
Which he works quite well as.
and him being Batman in the cowl. Robert Pattinson barely ever takes his cowl off. He's Batman the whole time. And I know they got that whole, like, you know, that there is your mask. I get it about the film, but it's like, okay, but kind of part of what Batman is the balance between how the man, feels his daily life with how the man deals with his nights. And if you're
all right, if I may go ahead and comment over here really quickly, my own sister pointed out to me that this film was also partially him trying to figure out who Bruce Wayne is in this film, like what is his role, like the other half of him. Because if you noticed, one of the candidates for mayor went up to him and said that you could be doing a lot with your wealth, with your fortunes, like donate to charities and stuff of that nature. So, yeah, that's kind of the point. The point is that he hasn't figured out who Bruce Wayne is. He kind of shuns that part of him because his focus is on being the Batman, on being vengeance. And it's at the end of the movie where he realizes that he also needs to be hope as well. He says it aloud for the audience to hear.
Let's keep going, shall we?
Trail on a detective case for 3 fucking hours in the same weather conditions the whole time at night. By the way, that poster is covered in peachy orange sunset. That is fucking bullshit. If you've watched the movie, there is one scene. That is the one scene where they're up on the roof. Everything else is
it's the scene at the end of the movie.
Green, the same color as the Riddler's anorak. Number 7, Val Kilmer for his lips. He was just kind of like, he was an okay Bruce Wayne, and he was an okay Batman. George Clooney, after that, not a particularly fantastic, very self-conscious Batman, but I liked his Bruce.
But what is Batman, if not an effort to... But I can't, can I?
Bastard Batman. His, I love you, old man. When he's just talking to Alfred in the bed, I'm just like, I feel for this, Bruce.
That's the other thing as well.
I would love to see old George Clooney come back and play old grizzled bastard Batman.
Oh my goodness.
Like, he's Batman.
I don't agree with that. Keaton's a better choice. I don't think the Flashpoint movie, whatever it's going to be, is going to be good. But honestly, I much prefer Keaton over George Clooney.
I actually did post my personal rankings. So Ben Affleck's the worst. Michael Keaton's. I only seen 5 Batmans. So mine goes Patterson. My top is Patterson. Second, Adam West. Third, Christian Bale. Fourth, Michael Keaton. Bottom, Ben Affleck. So
ouch.
Ouch, as in my opinion is wrong, or
no, ouch, as in poor Ben Affleck.
Sorry, Punisher Batman sucks.
Fair. To be it sucks for Batfleck because unfortunately for him, he didn't get to actually play Batman. He got to play Zack Snyder's psychotic parody of him.
He played Crazy Steve.
He played Murder Man. That's Christian Bale is the best Batman and Bruce Wayne. I like them, yeah.
Yeah. The problem with Christian Bale, unfortunately. So Christian Bale, great actor, right? The problem is tied to Nolan's writing. Nolan's tendency to focus on thematics over characterization.
Yeah, it's a problem.
And it affects like the best performance by Christian Bale as Batman and Bruce Wayne is Batman Begins. Like then it gets worse each consecutive movie. Like there's a reason why the first thing people talk about The Dark Knight is Heath Ledger's Joker. Like Christian Bale was fine. Like Christian Bale as an actor was fine as Batman through the rest of the trilogy, but his best work was in Batman Begins because that's when Batman actually had an arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love how this guy rags on the poster for quote unquote false advertisement, I suppose, with a peachy little sunset. He's like, that's only one scene in a film. Like, yes, it's the one scene after Batman's character arc is over. And if you notice, it's always dark and gloomy. And the only time the sun rises is when he realizes is when his arc is complete. So
Yeah.
it actually works
It's called-
thematically very nicely.
It's called visual storytelling.
Yes.
It's
Wow,
like
imagine that.
It's also called subtlety, subtle visual storytelling. Not unlike
Yes.
having Superman with a stained glass window behind him.
Yep. Let's keep going.
Oh yes, absolutely. Holy God.
Yep. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Perfect. As in, like, old Bruce Wayne, but they're doing that same thing with Keaton instead.
The animated series Batman, when he's
We're including that?
doing bat stuff, he takes his cowl off. He still has the suit on, so he's still Batman. But he takes his cowl off. Do you know why? Because the cowl is incredibly uncomfortable, and you can't eat the lobster thermidor that Alfred just brought you if you're still wearing your cowl.
I deserve this.
Wait, are we including animated series? Because if we do,
no, they were talking about. No, they're just doing live action. That's it.
oh, okay, because they're bringing up the animated series and talking about how cows is like, yeah, it's called costume, like. But if we're including animated series, of course, number one is Kevin Conroy. Like, come on.
Yeah, they're going to say Kevin Conroy is the best because he got a theatrical release.
Mm-hmm.
No,
If I also
that don't count.
if I also
does.
may
If
comment,
it was theatrically released, it counts.
See, is trying to say something.
if I also may comment really quickly, how does she know that a cowl is very uncomfortable to wear? Has she ever worn one before, let alone while
Maybe.
dating?
Maybe.
Isn't the whole thing
maybe,
that
possibly.
isn't the thing that we that like Shad made fun of Batman's outfit is that stupid? Well, it's not stupid, it's cool, but the face not covering his face
Is a massive problem. Is a massive
Yes.
Health risk. Is they can just go up ever so slightly and shoot him in the mouth and he's dead, or at least he is incapacitated because there's a lot
Yeah.
of nerves in the jaw. Last I checked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why you use stealth, or you fight in the dark.
Yeah, it really is funny how his entire jaw area is completely uncovered, yet somehow no shrapnel will ever seem to find its way in his mouth, even if it was to detonate in his face.
Well, it would kind of ruin the story, wouldn't it? There wouldn't be any more Batman then.
Yeah.
Almost as though somebody should consider that at some point. Maybe not.
Yeah,
have a bomb
much like-
detonate in his face.
Well,
Yeah. Let's keep going. Bill.
yeah,
A little bit too ridiculous and shouty as Batman and kind of boring, but Christian Bale's Bruce had a lot of dimensionality to him. I liked that, and I liked his relationship with Alfred. There was flashes of that at the beginning of this, but then Alfred actually gets blown up. He gets a bomb. It's Alfred who is...
it wasn't immediately. It was like third act, near the third act. You
Andy
idiots.
Serkis was Caesar, and he gets a package, and it's a riddle like, "Oh, what's the only mail you don't want to get?" I don't know, spam notification that you owe tax.
You know, he didn't open the
Use
package.
the
It just
wrong
was about to explode. He just threw it.
Yeah, it's just flammable. That's it. It doesn't say anything about that, so that he's factually
Yep.
wrong. Let's keep on.
Yeah, like
Thank you for your application. Unfortunately, blackmail, junk mail, flyers for pizza parlors you will never visit, pushy religious pamphlets saying that they have the answers to all the world's problems, something you bought online, but when it turns up, it's broken. No, hate mail. Hate mail is the answer to my riddle. You messed it up. Now go boom. And then, much like Jim Gordon in The Dark Knight Rises, he ends up in hospital for the rest of the time. He does live.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, because that way they don't have to deal with what happens if Alfred dies. And number 4, Adam West. Hilarious as fuck. He was so dapper, debonair, and yet weirdly judgmental of rummies.
It's filled with human jetsam. It's a low neighborhood. Full of
okay. You know why Adam West worked? He was the straight man.
Yeah, he's the straight man against the wackies.
Yeah. He actually treated it as like every situation was serious, was like dire straits, but everyone else is silly.
Yeah.
For me, I just need to mention
Batman series it's famous for the camp.
Pardon me.
Yeah, Blaring, go for it.
Thank you. I was just going to say, I have to mention here the machine that the Joker uses to transfer surfing knowledge from a surfing star to his own, so they become the most popular surfing star in the world and take over the world that way. Just have to mention that.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so awesome!
I know.
Oh no, Joker!
Like
Don't do it!
I know it's on YouTube too, I think.
Yeah, like I said, campy. Very campy
Yes.
shit.
Yes.
Also, Batman saved Fidel Castro.
What?
Oh boy, that aged quite well, now didn't it?
What about Fidel Castro's?
He rescued a Fidel Castro lookalike from a Riddler trap because he put like basically giant pins as a cage where if you pulled the wrong one, like he had to pull the right one in order to undo the cage.
That's
interesting.
hilarious.
So Batman contributed to Détente then.
All right, let's keep going.
They're used to curious sights, which they attribute to alcoholic delusions. Whoever
I need to figure out a way.
dehydrated those.
I need to get that clip. They see strange sights with which they mostly attribute to alcoholic delusions.
That's cool movies.
Well, that's a lot of that's high top films as well. High top films is awful, by the way. Nobody should. If anybody takes high top films seriously, you are a clown. I'm sorry. He is not a good film director. He is not a good YouTuber. He mostly just makes bad content. Anyway, let's keep going, shall we?
Pirates could not have foreseen their accidental rehydration with the heavy water we use in recharging the atomic pile. They may be drinkers, Robin, but they're also human beings.
Number 3, Will Arnett, my Lego Batman. Just brilliant, hilarious, emotional, totally compelling the whole time, even though the whole thing is effectively played as a joke. It goes deeper than every other Batman story. Number 2, who I...
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, he's fun. Lego Batman's funny in the Lego movie. Like, that's the goal of the Lego movies. Is just be fun.
I keep coming back to those 2 first Burton movies, and just as I get older, they just get more appealing. Just the quotability of them and the crazy gothic. I just appreciate the gothic. Yeah. You know, because like they don't do gothic for Batman anymore. It's always just going to be realistic. That means your whole world is calibrated to that. So you get realistic versions of the Riddler. I don't even want to know what a realistic Harley Quinn is like. But yeah, no, Michael.
Yeah, crazy lady.
As the Devil's Advocate, Moonlight. He did the Batman and Bruce in 2 different ways, which I appreciate.
Connection died or something.
Let's get nuts. And I'm looking forward to seeing him put the cowl back on again. Like I think he got the balance better than pretty much everyone else.
Batman Returns is specifically about looking at the duality of it.
Bale would have been at number 2 if he didn't do this, and he does do that. Bale in Batman Begins is number 2. Like he's way higher because he manages to keep that voice under control. And at number 1, because of Mask of the Phantasm that was theatrically released, Mr. Kevin Conroy.
That is accurate. Kevin Conroy.
I'm not a coward who hides behind a gun. I would never take the life of another. For I am
Batman, look out!
the Dark Knight, the last remaining piece of ground.
Are they really using a College Humor clip?
Yeah, they frequently use College Humor clips.
That chap reminds me a little bit of Donald Duck.
Okay, so
I have no idea why. That's just...
Oh, I see what's happening. You guys hate me. It's exhausting. But there are...
We get no killing of...
You see, Batman, what you did to Dr. Fishy is what you've done to these men.
I overfed these men.
So let's get back to the Batman. We get no killing of the Waynes in this. Thank goodness. I think it would have been absurd to see it. However, at the beginning, you know, I said that the father who's in a mansion gets killed by the horrible Riddler. His son is traumatized from it, and I said Bruce. Batman is at the crime scene, sort of inspecting the body, and the kid's over in the corner, traumatized, and Batman glances over at him, and there is, of course, an accord. I'm like, that's nice. Nicely done. He, in the same way that one kid keeps turning up in Batman Begins, Joffrey, this one kid is Bruce's inner child. He's this symbolic, like, I've got to rescue this kid from this terrible situation.
Did you say Joffrey?
The film had been.
Joffrey has a blink and you miss a cameo in Batman Begins. Or Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but like I really like how they use the kid motif because it kind of reminds the audience of why Batman does what he does.
See, my internet connection may be a bit
spotty.
Yeah, spotty.
Am I coming through?
Yes.
At the moment, yes.
And Bruce relating to one another, I'd have been like, you know what? This is cool. What's your name? Tim Drake, you say?
Kid gonna be Robin.
Would have been good. Would have been good.
No, no, it wouldn't.
Okay. No, just probably because my...
You're saying? Okay.
You were saying?
Wissia is severely delayed because of his internet.
Okay.
More of that. The Robin character was, of course, invented so that kids would have an avatar, someone that could hang around with Batman and feel like them when they were reading the comics. Batman was kept at a slight distance. But with the movies, almost universally, it's you want to be Batman. You see the world through Bruce Wayne's billionaire eyes.
Well,
so actually a lot more like Tim Drake.
Just that kids who are actually playing Batman, the kid always wants to be Batman. If you've ever been the older brother or if someone wants to play Batman or friend, they're always going to want to be Batman. You're going to be Robin.
Yeah. There's also the kids still want to be the superhero. They oftentimes don't want to be the kid in tights.
They don't like being sidekicks.
No,
it's usually like there are a few,
but they're rare. You were saying,
yeah, usually they're going to want to be the main one, and you're going to be the sidekick.
Yeah, usually have to roll for it or something.
Yeah, and like, no, and I don't like the idea of having that kid be Tim Drake or Dick Grayson.
I actually just kind of don't like Robin in most things. I like him in Young Justice, but that's the only iteration of Robin that I've ever liked.
I mean, I view him as part of the mythos, so in that sense, I want him there, but he's not like my favorite part by any manner of means.
Yeah. Right, let's keep going.
Regular Gotham background. Tim's smart and compassionate and a good person. And I'll wager most of the folks listening to this podcast are much the same. But yeah, we've never seen Batman really be a father, because when he finally adopts fucking Robin, he's like a 44-year-old man.
Where will you go? The circus must be halfway to Metropolis by now.
Get a fix on Two-Face?
Bunch of like...
I don't think you carry.
Nice bike.
Hang out at a lot of biker bars, Bruce?
It's like, can you adopt a man?
Like a grown-up? I don't...
The first time we see...
Relating to Batman Forever, where you, like Chris O'Donnell is clearly not a teenager. He's clearly an adult.
Yeah.
Batman. There's a whole bunch of like crimes are going on. A lot of blimey crimes are going on around Gotham, and the bat signal goes up, and then a bunch of clowns try to mug a guy in a subway, and then
hold up a minute. Sorry.
Shadows.
They got the order of the movie wrong.
Sorry. The chat. Yokai wants to join, I think.
Oh, sure. You want to come? I can. Sure. Let me bring you in.
Yeah, and like they got the order of the movie wrong. Like the scene before Batman sees the kid is when you get like this fantastic introduction to Batman, where you have a voiceover talking about the city and about his years of training, and it's a build up to when the bat signal gets activated and have all the criminals freak out. And you don't know when he's going to show up until you get to the group of Joker thugs beating up on that poor man. And then you hear the steps.
Yep. It's awesome. It's pretty exciting, I have to say. Let's keep going.
Who are you? And it's like, he's been doing this for 2 years. You must know about this. And it's like, oh, sorry, you're just facilitating a really cool intro. And then he like grabs the guy and like punches him repeatedly and goes, I am vengeance. Nice. Yeah, which made me think of Patrick S. Willems, Tommy Wiseau as Batman.
I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am Batman.
The Batman.
Like I said,
what?
Tommy was amazing.
Standing here, I realize these guys are morons who.
Yep. We have our friend and resident Batman fan in the back room. Let's bring him.
Hello.
Welcome.
I'm finally back.
Hello. It's been a long time. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yep. Welcome
That
back to
Batman
School of
take
Movies.
summons you.
Welcome back to School of Movies.
Let's do it. So anyway, as I was saying in the chat, I have to agree that Batman Begins was the best of the trilogy.
Oh yeah, by the landslide. Like it's not even close. Like Dark Knight is held up because of Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
Like in terms of
nobody ever talks about anything other than Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah. As soon as you take him out, if you like actually do like actually write out the plot in character arcs in that one, Two-Face was okay. But then, other than that, it's like
I like the Two-Face concept of, but even before the Two-Face concept of the White Knight concept, where Batman was talking about how they needed Harvey Dent, they needed a White Knight, and he would play the role of the Dark Knight. I love that concept. I do love that, but it's not enough for me to like it as much as Batman Begins. That movie is just too perfect for me.
Did I watch Batman Begins? I don't remember.
Okay, so Batman Begins is the one where he's trained by ninjas.
It's the one where he's trained by Liam Neeson to become Batman.
Oh, okay. I don't think I saw that.
There were just so many layers to it, and they were all knitted together so perfectly.
Yeah, so for me, Batman Begins is actually now it was my favorite, and then this movie came out.
Really? You like this more than Begins?
Yes.
Eesh. See, for me, this is one of the weaker Batman films, in my opinion.
Oh, I disagree wholeheartedly. We could go deeper as we go through the review.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, let's keep going.
See now.
Don't worry about it, Alfred. Everything will be fine. I will find who killed my parents. I will get them.
And whenever he does it without observing that he sounds like he's self-parodying, he is in fact doubling down on the playing it straight, which has the opposite effect.
Stop that. I'll kill you. Oh, hi. I'm the Batman.
But the being angry and violent and with that voice is textual to the movie. Early on, Alfred says to Bruce, "You might want to examine your actions, master," or something to that effect. "Oh, you're going off the deep end, Bruce." And I'm like, this sounds very familiar. Remember when, not too many years ago, Jeremy Irons, as Alfred, said pretty much the same thing, in a way that was clearly supposed to be a lot more overtly textual to Batman v Superman.
New rules. We're criminals, Alfred. We've always been criminals. Nothing's changed. Oh, yes, it has. Everything's changed. Men fall from the sky. The gods.
To Bruce, but
The turns, good man. Cruel.
He's saying to Bruce, but Ben Affleck, Bruce, in not so many words, you're branding men on purpose so that they get killed in jail. That's
the whole
cruel.
thing is dumb.
You're being cruel.
Yeah.
You're killing people by proxy on purpose.
Yeah.
You don't
and-
seem to care anymore.
Okay, I need to pause. So we're exploring the dynamic, which I love this the way they're doing this, where Andy Serkis's Alfred, which by the way, Andy Serkis has done a good job. Like I was talking to friends that despite the quality of any of the Batman movies, Alfred and Gordon has always been consistent on getting good actors portraying Alfred and Gordon.
Yeah, they always get a pretty good actor for Alfred and Gordon. I agree.
Yeah, and so in this one, I liked how in this one where he's more of a father figure than Michael Caine is, of course, great. Like every other version is great, but this one, the reason why this Alfred's great is that it's a lot more focused on him being a father.
He doesn't get much screen time, but he does make an impression with what little he has.
It seems that in most of the Batman
Yeah, that's
films,
that have to
Alfred
be
is-
one of my biggest. That's
Wait,
one of my biggest
Valerian's
critiques
talking.
of the movie. Sorry about that.
Wait, Valerian was talking. Valerian?
Yeah, this will be really quick. Seems that most of the films, Alfred is one of the best things.
Go for it. Go for you.
One of my bigger critiques would actually be the lack of Alfred screen time. Very little screen time was there.
I don't know, because it's more of a mystery, the way they used them was great, and I like it how they did establish that Alfred is the one who runs basically the family business.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bruce, at this point, is like they even mentioned how he is like the most recluse billionaire in most recluse person in Gotham, other than the Falcones.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Jeremy Irons? Oh, Ben Affleck.
That's how much it sinks in, folks. Alfred, his Jeremy Irons was also his Alfred was also pretty good. He was in Justice League as well.
Yeah, just remembered it.
Yeah. Okay.
Michael Caine is kind of fairly emblazoned in there as far as live action movie.
You can borrow the rolls if you want, sir. Just bring it back with a full tank. Yeah. I was just going to say, absent the occasionally merciful, dryly delivered humor of the Nolan films. We talked about that back in 2012 when we covered them.
I found some irregularities.
Their CEO isn't police.
Yeah. I was just going to borrow the rolls if you want, sir.
Whole division of Wayne Enterprises claiming
Joker, without Guard, been doing an iconic 2008 performance, and since Heath Ledger's iconic, occasionally funny and drunk.
There. We can kind of skip a minute or two.
Yeah, are they just really just going back through the series like other Batman versions?
And it's just like
Yep.
the occasional wry things. Even Christian Bale was occasionally funny and dry. Rachel was funny sometimes. Gordon was funny sometimes. Scarecrow was funny sometimes.
Sold. We ran in the cold sweat.
You know, the Batman was actually pretty funny. Like, if you think about some of the scenes, like there was actually it's very dry, but there is actually a lot of humorous scenes, especially with Gordon and Batman's interactions. Like the whole pretending. I thought you were gonna pull back your punch. I did. Like it wasn't like laugh out loud, ha ha ha, funny. It's like, oh, nice. That's
dry. That's dry. I kind of do believe it because Robert Pattinson's a tall, imposing guy, like compared to everybody else.
And also, here's a funny bit. If you notice the scene with the Penguin when they left the Penguin behind, he waddles a bit.
Yeah, he kind of does. Let's keep going.
Iconic 2008 performance. Every single actor who has followed him has, in some regard, been doing an impression of Heath Ledger's take on the Joker without ever making him funny. And Ledger's Joker was funny.
But we know fans are only here for one reason, the Joker. And they're barely gonna get any of him. Experience in an interpretation with and cat.
This to me. You can't make me sit through a man dressed as a bat.
It's so edgy, you could cut him out of the movie and it wouldn't make any difference.
There is not one smidgen of humor in 3 hours. I'm like, you can't do this to me.
Oh, come on.
So it's you're not entertained. You're not having a laugh every 10 seconds.
Like a Marvel movie, because Marvel movies have really weird tone problems, especially lately.
So that's why he prefers Adam West.
Yep.
Like Black Panther would have been better if they took out most of the humor and replaced it with focusing more on its core narrative.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, no offense, but you have boring taste, and I don't want to be friends with you.
Yeah, it's like, what? I just don't understand. Like, well, one, it's just like, there are funny moments, and also like the thumb drive.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this guy's hilarious. As just Gordon's exasperation is funny. It's just not quippy funny like your precious sequel trilogy, where they're doing horrible jokes.
What
they
jokes?
don't pause, and they don't pause after the jokes, or they don't like they don't. People don't. And the Batman is not written like they're all talking through a voice chat.
Sorry, I'm just going to mention that I totally forgot all the. Granted, I forgot like 9/10 of the sequel trilogy, but I don't remember any jokes.
Well, the thing like
they fly now,
or we got a call in from General Leia about Mr. Hux's mother.
Is that a joke?
Yep, that's
yes. The film literally started with a "your mama" joke.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's an important communique from General Leia to General Hux. It's about his mother.
That's charming and cute.
Or the blue milk that you see in the.
And if you don't like it, no offense, but you have boring taste, and I don't want to be friends with you.
You already did that one. You were in the middle of saying something.
Or even in the Force Awakens. Poe gets dragged down in front of after you see this battle raging in the village. So is this the part where who speaks first? Is it me or is it you? Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Nope, I don't remember any of that.
The sequel trilogy is one of those. It's not one of those things that kind of sticks in your memory. unless you're like really passionate. Unlike Transformers or Your Highness.
Well, Transformers does well. Actually, I take it back because I do remember the bits I saw of Transformers. I don't particularly want to see any more of them. Actually, Your Highness, I forgot most of it too. Most of it.
Yeah, including the booby trap.
Yeah.
Or the Minotaur wiener.
No. Kill it.
Actual thing in the movie, because the Minotaur horn is too.
We don't.
Wait, isn't it that comedy involving Natalie Portman and some other guy?
Danny McBride and James Franco.
Just kill it. Just kill it. Just kill it.
Yeah, like when the Minotaur thinks that the kind of skinny page is a cow.
Okay, all right. Let's continue with school movies.
No.
I still have that commentary. I need to rewatch it just because it's so entertaining. I need to re-upload it sometime.
But then you have to watch the film too.
Yeah.
Don't make me sit through a man dressed as a bat for 3 hours and be this super fucking serious.
Yes.
You can't, and they do. They totally fucking did. It's a way. It's a way. It's just not my way, folks. Selena is kind of a cat burglar who Bruce collars early on and says, I want you to help me. And she's like, ugh. Okay. She goes into clubs and does the things that Bruce can't do by being a girl and guys who are corrupt. The corrupt! There is so much of Gotham that is corrupt.
So he says, be my bait.
Basically. She puts
No.
They're allies with a similar goal.
Yeah, she's looking for her friend who's been kidnapped up to that point, and he's investigating. And she is the only one that is allowed in the nightclub because she's part of the staff.
Yep. She's not bait. He doesn't.
One thing I thought was really cool and creative was the contacts. I thought that was awesome.
Oh yeah,
I liked that a lot.
That is like the most advanced thing they have. Like even the body. The only advanced thing about his body armor is that they just took in modern day technology like a thick plate and made it small. Small and flexible.
Well, one of the reasons I liked it was because one of my favorite tropes in like spy movies and stuff, or like John Wick, is like when you see this really stoic character in the middle of a mission have to go into something like a party where like it has like rave music playing while they're doing spy shit. I really like that trope for some reason, and this movie did it twice.
Yeah.
They did it with Batman and they did it with Catwoman, and I have to admit I did like that a lot.
Yeah, and like, so are they literally saying that Batman is being sexist because the way Catwoman sort of volunteers as their plan?
I don't know.
All right, continue.
I don't know.
Contact lens and looks at people, and occasionally she's like, I can't look at him, like, you know, he's a mass murderer, and if I piss him off I'm gonna be on his kill list.
No, he wasn't a mass murderer. He was.
Look at him. Just look at him.
He just didn't want to have a hook. She just didn't want to have like a one night stand. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying no to the Minotaur thing. Sorry. Carry on. No, don't. You don't need to highlight that thing. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Move along. Move along. Thank you.
What the hell is this guy going on about? I gotta read this now.
No. 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 You don't need that.
I can't believe where
What the fuck?
Move along,
I remember that was a joke in a movie. Just move on. I repressed that memory for a reason.
Yeah, kill it. Just it doesn't exist anymore.
No, unfortunately, it does.
No, it doesn't. Die screaming.
But yeah. I've got here notes: dull, interminable, dangerous dudes. Oh, I know what that dangerous dudes means. Fixation on liars in power. Right. The Riddler is really, 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 really pissed off about liars and phonies. Let's have some more of Elliot Goldenthal's iconic Riddler music while watching. But that orphanage, and there's a whole... It transpires, grew up in an orphanage. And there's a whole lot of like Thomas Wayne signed off on this orphanage and he was going to support it, but then it burned down and then all the orphans got turned out into the street or something. So he left us behind. He was alive.
No, okay.
And as
he died.
Yeah, he literally died. He signed over the mansion to become an orphanage, and he was in like the whole point is that and then so he had an orphanage, and then Thomas Wayne died, but the circumstances around is that they kind of left that ambiguous, which is cool, like where he made a mistake. He made an awful mistake because he wanted to protect his wife from the shame of, of mental issues, her having mental problems. So he wanted the Falcones to pressure a guy who turned out to be, I think it was revealed in like a comic, which, outside material, or it could be in the film. I can't remember that it was Riddler's father, I think. And so this guy was like a reporter, and the Falcones was originally going to threaten him, but they end up killing him, of course. And Thomas Wayne was about to confess to the crime, like his part in the crime and resign and everything. But it was the night that he died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually accurate because he actually likes Falcon and Winter Soldier. Let that sink in.
And what Ninja said is also accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It turns out I didn't even notice this while watching, but that orphanage was Wayne Manor, which had been donated by the Wayne family. So Bruce lives in Gotham, which is maybe more practical for getting to crimes quicker, but less practical when it comes to returning to Batman's man cave at the end of the night and potentially being tracked by your enemies. Batman's famous uptown apartment. And the Riddler's really got it in for Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne, a bunch of other people in the city. Like he's just killing them all over the place and sort of leaving Batman clues. And one of the clues is something about a flying rat. And Batman was like, huh? And they're following up this thing on a flying rat for an hour. And eventually the Penguin goes, that's la, not le. It's Spanish. He's talking about a bat. And I'm like, you didn't think he meant bat? I had to sit there for an hour waiting for the world's greatest detective to catch up with me.
Okay,
Batman.
We had the discussion
being brought up again.
Oh my goodness! Like we talked about it before, but it's like
a URL.
Yeah, and also the whole thing is a detective story. Again,
red herrings exist for a reason, and the movie's long enough to incorporate a lot of different red herrings. It only introduces one red herring throughout the entirety of its 3-hour runtime. Most of the other stuff are directly related to the progression of the plot.
Right. And like in most detective stories, yeah, you do get one red herring for like in a TV show. For an episode, like that's usually acceptable. Just one red herring, and then we get back on track. But still, it's like Batman is not like, I solve everything instantly.
And also, like URL, that's a weird. I would not think of that. Like and URL, that's actually kind of clever. Like you are like rat with wings, and they're thinking they're like going down a particular route because they're trying to find a rat, and they are right that there is a rat. It's just the particulars and the exact like literal meaning of the rat with wings, rather than
and also it reveals that the whole answer to the riddle is literally you drag the head Falcone under a light so that he could be sniped.
Yep.
Like, so they didn't even get the clue. They didn't even get the answer to the riddle until it's too late.
Yep.
Not very good at doing the Batman stuff. Because as it transpires, the Riddler is killing all these people, tries to kill Bruce Wayne, ends up getting Alfred. But he's doing it because he actually wants Batman's attention. He's like,
no,
I'm doing this thing to get rid of all the liars. I'm doing it for us. We saw There Will Be Blood last night. It is a magnificent film by Paul Thomas Anderson. I wanted to see it just to see Paul Dano get hit in the head with a skittle, because watching him in this film going, oh, you don't know. Who am I doing there? Oh, it's Pollux Troy from Face Off. He's beginning to enjoy being you. Paul Dano's skill in a dual role in There Will Be Blood. One of the brothers he plays is a pastor and an aggressive evangelist who embodies everything loathsome about those con men who whip their congregation into a frenzy, not based on their own faith, but because they really like the attention. And the money helps.
Whoa. Clearly you have a bias.
What has that to do with Batman? I don't remember any.
Yeah, and plus,
what Larry was talking.
I don't remember. What has that to do with Batman? I don't remember a preacher being in the Batman film.
He's talking about There Will Be Blood, and specifically because the Riddler the guy who plays Riddler in the Batman played a preacher in There Will Be Blood. That's why.
Okay, there's a distant connection. Carry on, ninja-ish thing, chap.
Yeah, but oh my goodness, it's like he clearly misses the point of the Riddler. He was getting Batman's attention because he thought that Batman would ally with him and be with him, and stay with him in Arkham. But when he flooded the city, because his ultimate plan was to basically wipe the slate clean by flooding the entire city and killing all the people.
I love that Wishy is going, yes.
Yeah, he thought Batman would be an ally. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like the whole point as part of Batman's character arc is that Riddler was going on a revenge spree in his mind. And he really thought the reason he left clues is that he really thought that Batman was his ally. That's why he did an autistic screeching when he found out that when Batman said, "No, you're a lunatic," and then also it was like, "Oh, you didn't figure it out?"
Yeah, let's keep going.
Is a pastor and an aggressive evangelist who embodies everything loathsome. Evangelist.
Get him out of here, Ghost. You in the teeth.
Life sent used condoms. I'm trying to work out who is worse, him or Jared Leto. It's got to be Jared Leto, because Jared Leto in real life sent used condoms to Viola Davis, and that's just being unbearable. Whereas I would imagine Paul Dano is at least a decent chap in real life. He's just an oily tick of an on-screen presence.
I have never heard anybody say anything about Paul Dano as a person.
Okay.
Anything, good or bad, which suggests he probably hasn't done anything horrendous.
So he's a young version of Colm Feore. But anyway, he's an annoying wet splat of an actor. Anyway, but he's supposed to be. The Riddler is framed as the guy who's obsessed with Batman, but who in reality Batman would go, "You're a dick," too. It's just that this Batman's also a dick, so I kind of don't care.
It does kind of feel like having gone through, I'm Batman, but I'm double Batman.
No, I'm double Batman. I'm triple Batman.
We're now into I'm the Joker. Well, I'm double the Joker. Well,
I'm triple the Joker because if you remember, folks, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor was also very the Joker. Let me take you back to the night I saw Batman v Superman and my impressions that I was reeling off to Sharon. Much like Kevin Spacey's Lex, Clancy Brown is clinical for me. He is fan-bloody-tastic and was for years.
Man, we're talking about another movie.
Yep.
A bad movie.
Yep. That he thinks is better than this.
What? Pardon me.
Yeah, and also, There Will Be Blood sounds like you know, his glowing recommendation makes me not want to watch that movie.
Let me take a look at There Will Be Blood. I am interested to see. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's from audience scores of over 250,000 ratings. It's got an 86.
Okay,
Same
so
as Rise of Skywalker.
There Will Be Blood. As soon as you put There Will into Google, There Will Be Blood is the first thing that comes up.
yeah, I'm gonna ask so I have a friend who he works at a movie theater and he loves going into movies and he's more in the artsy fartsy movies. So I'll ask him about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course there will be blood. There will be blood shed.
Yeah, but I'm looking at There Will Be Blood. It's got a 91 critical scored, 86% audience score. But the weird thing is, its audience score is the same as Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, let's see. Rich Guy and Preacher.
Yeah.
Carry on.
To get a Lex that wasn't dancing from foot to foot going, my plans are coming to fruition. Just, poking you in the ribs, and then when you try and stop him, he starts poking you in the chest and the back. Like an imaginary friend you're cursed with going, There was one weird moment of 4D where he's just chomping down some Jolly Ranchers, and he shoves a Jolly Rancher into a guy he's talking to's mouth. And he says, swallow it, it's cherry. And I was eating a friggin' cherry Jolly Rancher.
Why are you reminding me, school movies, of that?
What?
Why are you removing me of Jesse Eisenberg? Stop.
Yeah. I don't...
Man, did not expect that to happen.
So he's kind of the...
That was the best moment of the film for me, by the way.
Was it? Oh my God. So the best moment of this eagerly awaited film
will not in any way
you
affect
ate
anybody
Jolly
else.
Rancher.
Oh yeah, it was great. It's cherry.
So he's kind of Riddler-like then.
Yeah, actually I did think about the Riddler. Yeah.
Like the jacket, it keeps me safe when I'm jogging at night. I simply love what you've done with this place. Heavy metal meets house and garden. You sunk my battleship! Tell the fat lady on it! Was that over the top?
Full dichotomy.
It's a various hero. And
on it! Was that over the top? I can never tell.
Excellent.
Okay.
Stop thinking that this hero and this villain are the only things we're interested in.
It's a false dichotomy.
It's a very false dichotomy.
A dichotomy is where two things exist in opposition of each other. If every hero is Batman and every villain is Joker, comics get real fucking boring, especially if you're always trying to be Batman. So as it turns out, this particular Riddler has been firing up alt-right dudes on the internets. And you get going, all these fucking politicians, these phonies. And there is a black female politician who's actually like, I'm going to move Gotham forwards.
Everyone, meet your new commissioner.
Meet Barbara Gordon using statistics.
Here she is, everyone. To the bat signal.
The woman in the Purge elections. Matt Reeves is on her side.
And what's to the bat signal?
That's me.
Thank you. Along with Batman, of course.
Woo, let's hear it for Batman.
And Matt Reeves is on her side. He's like, you've got to be able to believe in some people who actually do want to move us forward. But she kind of strikes me as the woman in the Purge election year who's like, I'm going to go out and I don't care if they try and shoot me. And she goes out.
Oh, they will try and shoot
And she gets shot at.
Disgusting nerd guys all
Yeah.
try to shoot her. We'll come
Because
back to
nobody
She's a fucking idiot.
Well, yeah, well, politicians.
Yeah, politicians are mostly dumb.
Yeah, like they want to get a good first impression on their first day after a massive flood in the city. It's. By the way, that actually sucks on your first day of the job of getting elected, and the whole city gets flooded.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
By the way, you're not disgusting if you're a nerd. I'm a nerd. She's a nerd. These are disgusting guys who happen to be nerds and are caricatures.
That's disgusting. But the problem with making all of your villains that, and don't get me wrong, it has its place for definite. I have seen it done well.
Mm-hmm.
But making all of your villains that actually serves to make them feel like there's more of them than there actually is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, gratifying.
The film, okay. The film made it a point that he only had like 500 followers, and only like a handful of them were even there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's keep going.
Dudes. And I'm wondering if that was because they wanted to illustrate that, unlike in Joker, where there's a massive fucking mob, there's a lot fewer of these people than there are.
Oh, you mean in the movie? Right, I thought you meant on the internet. I was going to say, well, that's brilliant. Let's find them, round them up, and the problem solved.
It's not an accurate cross-section. But it's also possibly that coordinating a fight at the top of a very narrow catwalk, you need to only keep your dude numbers down.
Yeah.
But either way, that they're a small number at high elevation with sniper rifles, which the Riddlers all fired them up into thinking that they really, really want. It makes for a kind of a threatening, like an everyday threat, something rational Americans are very afraid of for a good reason. At least prior to COVID. Like, this was obviously written prior to COVID, filmed during COVID, got struck by COVID. Robert Pattinson caught COVID from other people who went.
Who cares about COVID?
It's like we're pretty much back to normal. COVID's pretty much like a thing of the past for the most part. With
I don't know. My parents are still scared to death of it.
Well, yeah, but people are still scared of
age bracket group.
Well, yeah, but they still, they count.
Yeah,
I know. It hits the, unlike the Black Death or the swine flu or other diseases, majority of the people that are below the age of 50 usually survive.
Yeah.
Whereas the old and the very young, who either have failing immune systems or have less developed immune systems, usually are victims of COVID. Though there are times where there'll probably be connections between cancer or lung or some kind of lung failure and COVID, where it was probably just the lung failure, but we don't have the means of determining which at this point.
So you're the public health expert, is it?
No, I've just based on the cursory research, that's what I found. I know for a fact that the Utah death, even just cases of COVID is a fourth of everywhere else. And that based on the stats of COVID deaths versus COVID cases, it's 500 million to 6 million, where it's about 1% of the people who have caught COVID have died.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, during the earlier years, we didn't even have a vaccine, remember?
Yeah, but my whole point is that it doesn't matter in the film.
Yeah, that was your point, that it's not relevant to the film, not that we don't care about it, but that it's not relevant to the film. That was your point, right?
Yeah. Stop observing the film in its meta, as in real life, not the meta as in the story that it's telling.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's yeah, I was right. It's 555 million confirmed cases versus 6 million confirmed deaths, and 11 million vaccine doses administered.
The current strain is less deadly than the previous strains. The previous strains were much more deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We also had a lot more vaccines going through going through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There weren't any vaccines for over a year, as I recall.
Yeah.
It was all filmed in shithole Bognor fucking Stoke-on-Trent, not even the armpit of the world. If an anus had an anus, that would be this version of Gotham. It's like
what?
Out of the ass.
Yeah.
The ass.
Yes. Gotham sucks.
Not quite that much, but yes.
To the whole thing I said about dialogue and discourse with previous Batman films.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Yeah, I can't stand any. Like, man, the reveal was the reveal itself was so tangent filled
and vapid.
Yeah, it's hard to get a general view of their picture of the view of the film because they keep moving off into other directions.
It's all about. It's just this. It seems like they just.
It wasn't really like a review. It was more like what we're doing right now.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's not even like them talking about the movie. It's just them talking about, oh, it's awful because we have to come up with insult. It feels like I was listening to an extended version of a Nostalgia Critic video.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like this
audio with lower production value than a Nostalgia Critic video.
Yeah, and Nostalgia Critic, I would argue, is a better critic.
Is Nostalgia Critic the one that survey says? That's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, what they really need to do is they need to organize their arguments and they need to start editing. Because this isn't really a review. This is just a discussion.
It feels like they at the beginning they just like, oh, I wasn't sure if this was gonna be like an actual episode dedicated to the Batman. So
if I'm being completely fair and objective about this, I don't like these people. But based on the factual thing, there are two different types of reviews they will do. They have a panel thing or two and two discussion of a film where they'll try to go through it, or they'll have a they'll have a crew of guests, or it'll be them having seen the movie, and there'll be the times where it's just him at the cinema and he's describing the movie experience to his wife. This was the third one.
Sorry. I think the Wonder Woman 84 and the one that was panels was actually a better episode.
Because it actually described more of the movie.
Yeah, a lot more discussion points about this. Honestly feels like it's like, okay, you didn't like the movie because of you don't like the direction Batman films are, the tone that
and you don't like the weirdness. You don't like the fact that it's not stunning and brave enough to put Wonder Woman in a lesbian relationship.
And also it's raining. It was raining that day. You didn't bring a coat or an umbrella, and the movie theater's trash. Like you were all thinking about your TV. So maybe just think, why didn't you go back home?
Or just wait until it got on HBO Max, and then you could put it on your fancy frickin' TV.
Yeah, so you can have the best experience.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we watched it.
Yep.
I actually watched it. I watched it in the theater. I want to rewatch it and to enjoy that.
Well, I don't know of anything else that there. that we can talk about here. Well, I can always describe Your Highness to Yokai because he didn't see it.
I haven't seen it, but I just heard of it.
I have no idea what anybody's talking about.
No.
Something tells me that Dunn is gonna kidnap us and forces us to watch it.
Brett Leonard, if you even try, you'll be put to death for doing that. That's a death penalty crime. That's against the Geneva Conventions. You're going before the International Court of Justice if you do that.
So, no details, I promise, because we don't want to offend Valerian's delicate sensibilities.
By screaming.
I think you already offended him enough.
It's a terrible frat boy medieval fantasy drama starring Danny McBride as a layabout prince who goes on a trip, and it includes multiple terrible jokes that make on a level with something like That's My Boy from Adam Sandler.
So it's just imagine a Seth Rogen comedy, but in fantasy,
but with less line. It basically declares, where are the lines? We don't even lines. We will cross anything.
So saying that ink. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sad that you didn't get. Maybe I should figure out a way to make Yokai and Yokai watch Your Highness, because I think that would be immensely amusing.
No, don't do it. Don't let him do it to you.
I don't care. I'll deal with it. I got nothing better going on. I'll do it.
Even though this is one of the moments that happened in the movie.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll do it.
No, don't. Honestly, people.
No, I've been gone a long time. I think I'll treat Dunn.
No, don't treat him to something else. Listen, this film, people who have watched this film have been begged to be damned in hell for eternity, screaming, rather than watch one instant of that film.
Man, you are you're making me more curious. How is the film?
No, don't
makes you that horrified.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it.
I already said I would do it.
All right, let's figure out. Let's pick a time next week. It's the Ninja and Yokai Zero viewing of your.
Wait! I'm Jack. Oh, great.
Yeah, sure.
Either that. It's either that or That's My Boy.
I'll watch that. I like that movie.
I was thinking with fantasy.
Last time I saw it, I think I was a kid, so I don't know what I would think of it now.
That's
the one where the kid is pissing on the fucking newspapers, right?
Why don't you just watch a film? Sorry, why don't you just watch a film?
Which one am I thinking of?
Pardon me, I'm talking. Why don't you just watch a film of a cockroach vomiting for 24 hours?
So Yokai, this is the movie where. So That's My Boy, for reference. The start of the film is Adam Sandler as a kid is seduced by his teacher, and he gets her pregnant.
What? It's ridiculous.
And it's a really attractive teacher, too.
Okay.
And then the rest of the movie is him trying to swindle his son into giving him money to evade, to get out of crap with the IRS. Because his son is getting married, and he's a hedge fund manager.
That sounds really silly.
It is very silly. But, ooh.
What?
I do know one thing that we need to watch.
What's that?
The Lord of the Rings Amazon Superfans trailer review.
Okay.
who is it?
I did say that I would be joining the crew for the Rings of Power.
Count Balerion, you're the one that really likes the Batman, right?
Well, the ninja probably likes it even more than I do, but I did like it.
Holy Ninja, you're the one that really likes the Batman?
Yeah.
This weekend, Smudcast, we're doing a movie night. You want to watch Batman with us? I don't know if it's the Batman.
Busy.
They haven't said which one
weekends, I'm very busy with my other friends, so.
Okay. I figured I would let you know.
I don't know. Like, here's the, so with the EFAP and Smudcast community, like I have like distanced myself much like on that, so I don't know what their opinions on like the Batman.
I think, as far as I recall, Smud hasn't seen it yet, but I think most of the Smudcast likes the Batman. And EFAP liked it. Like, they defended it from Ben Shapiro. Like, they said that Ben Shapiro's wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ben Shapiro doesn't like
I know
the Batman.
Literature Devil seems to really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, I understand why you, also, I understand why you think Batman Begins is better. The Batman has so much of the stuff that I want for a Batman story. It was like my dream Batman movie.
Okay,
like
fine.
it had all the elements that I love about Batman into a movie that I never thought I wanted in this specific package.
You don't have to justify it. It's fine for you to like it more.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that next week we are going to be doing the I think sometime in the evening I'd like to do, I want to, before the abortion that will be the Rings of Power comes out, I want to cover the trailer and the superfans review of the trailer, because I imagine that we are all going to howl with laughter, at least at the superfans.
Didn't we already watch the trailer? We already did that.
We watched the trailer, but we didn't want. But that was on the Skits channel.
But it counts.
Yes, but I want to do the. I want to. What was it? Ooh, there's this bit. I found this, and it was quite illuminating. I'll show it to you guys real quick because I think it's funny.
Okay.
Do you remember this from the UK fans video? If like Sauron is hot, I feel like people will be like, I can fix him. What about this? People are gonna fall in love with him and be like, I can change him.
Did you see it? Different times, different takes, different words, a different script. We don't even stroke the same ear during it.
What?
I'm shaking my head right now.
What the hell is this guy on about?
So
wait a minute.
Sauron
What?
being hot, apparently.
What?
Because this is the second age. This is second age, so this is when he can have a human form.
Well,
An
Sauron
elf
was.
form.
I did a parody of Sauron's Diary where Sauron really was into, like, well, let's just say he wasn't necessarily into celibacy.
But yeah, it's like that's a taster of what we're going to be seeing.
Oh.
Yeah, I may not be able to do Tuesdays. I want to keep Tuesdays at a minimum because I have my personal home group that I go to.
Okay.
So.
Next Thursday, maybe?
Yeah, Thursdays I can do.
Okay. Yeah, since I've got stuff this Thursday, but I don't have anything next Thursday.
But and yes, I will be. I assume I will be joining the Rings of Power crew when that show comes out.
Yeah, the plan on that one is Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Thursday night. Oh dear.
The reason for that is when it comes out. Thursday night 5 MST is when
Are they releasing all of the episodes or
the standard practice with Amazon is the initial 3 episodes and then they do weekly.
Tell me what the time was again, sorry.
5 MST Thursdays is when Amazon drops their stuff.
And it lasts an hour, right? Each episode?
It's flexible between 50 and an hour, yes.
Okay. Then it might be possible because it might work out then because that's when I have my book club is on Thursday.
I can always move it to I can move Writer's Showcase around if needed, or
it's Lord of the Rings, even though it's probably gonna suck. It would be funny. It will be funny if we are all proven wrong that it's a fantastic adaptation.
It could be.
I want that.
Are you high?
Yes, I'm high. I'm high on the little hope I have for it. The tiny hope.
Yeah, 7 p.m. At least it's not 8 p.m. because that 8 p.m. is when 8 p.m. is when I have the book club. So 7 p.m. is probably okay. I might be a little late or something.
Ninja, I just realized your avatar looks like a Pope Decepticon.
Okay, yeah, okay, so actually, the robot is actually from an anime called Super Ninja Robots. And yes, it is a Pope hat. Also, and it was a friend of mine did this Photoshop. Also, he's holding a Bible.
Oh, I thought his hands were crossed. He is holding.
Yes,
a Bible.
yeah.
Oh, they are crossed. He's holding it like a schoolgirl. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so September 2nd. Let me check. September 2nd. September 2nd. September 2nd is a Friday. Okay, so they're keeping with the thing with Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time was released at 5 MST. I believe. I will have to. Yeah, it's 5 MST. I'll have to. So.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to just having people compare Wheel of Time to this. Oh man.
I looked up Super Ninja Robot and it keeps redirecting me to Super Ninja Alien Robot Monsters. Is that it?
I think that Wheel of Time is going to be better than Rings of Power, but that's not saying much because Rafe Judkins has credentials compared to the nepotism beneficiaries who are running the show. I do not believe that they got this on merit. I refuse to believe that.
I put it on general accidentally.
Thank
you. The anime actually never finished its story.
So like Berserk.
Yeah, it ran out of budget, and I will say this:
Berserk. It wasn't his fault. The guy died, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, Cengiz. Hey, Cengiz. Cengiz is like the main host at the 2 Cents show.
Oh, nice. Well, after almost 3 hours, I think we will call it good. We made good time. 45 minutes and only 3 hours.
hey, this is our only foray, and that's the important part.
This is a glorious moment in the story.
Yep. Well, we will call that good for today. I need to take a quick nap before I go into work.
And I need to go to bed.
And I need to go take a quick nap before I go in for another nap.
Oh, that one. That's like the doldrums in Phantom Toll Booth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Larry? Say
Yep.
the line.
Have a
Which
riot.
line?
Enough! Kill me! Just end it.
No.